Two robots and no respawn. This is your show this week.
This is, as promised, the low-key, late-night ASMR Destiny update show where we bring you all the latest in Destiny fishing news, what the current tides are forecasted to be, where to catch the best fish. All fishing, no gunplay. Two Titans and a Hunter.
Welcome to Two Titans and a Hunter, a Destiny 2 podcast. Dedicated in bringing you all the latest information, news, and opinions. This is the best show for new and veteran Guardians alike, where we share tips, tricks, and tools to help you succeed and enjoy playing even more. So with all that said, let me hand you over to your hosts, the Triumph Hunting Titan Nitedemon, the pink-panted pansy Peroty, and your Hunter Master Rager, Mr. No One Respawns in Real Life!
So, welcome to the show this week. It is just myself, Nitedemon, and my good friend Peroty over there in the US of A. Getting ready to celebrate the 4th of July, his independence from me, but then he likes coming back to me. So, swings and roundabouts.
It's an abusive relationship. I try to get away and he pulls me right back in.
Mm-hmm.
But on the upside, you're not, you dear listeners, are not stuck with just me this week. So be happy about that.
And you haven't got the shouty person either, telling you that you're all wrong, Bungie's wrong, and just shouting.
Everyone and everything is wrong.
Or falling
which
asleep.
Is just for the best. Honestly, I mean, it's hard work being the entire face of the entire Hunter race in Destiny. I mean, it takes a lot out of you. That's why you need to take naps. Naps, get some good protein bars in you. You know, you got to make sure that caffeine level's up.
Yeah.
And that's why we're announcing Respawn Gamer. No. Thanks to our sponsor this week. Absolutely nobody. Because we're here doing it for you all. Doing it for the love of the game.
We're here to tell you all about Destiny on a Thursday, which is bizarre. Because Thursday, who knew? TWID Day? Is it TWID's Day? It's some kind of day that they release something about Destiny. So it's that day, and we're here today.
It's fresh. Like it doesn't even. We're not even a full day old from when it was released. It's still hot and fresh, right out of the oven, right into our hands.
So, do we want to talk about the TWID? It makes me laugh. The week that you decided that the week that you couldn't say it, and it was like bleh, bleh. I was killing myself laughing.
It's still terrible. I still hate it.
It's fine for when you want to announce what is happening this week in Destiny, but it technically it's not this week, it's this past week, but then there's too many letters to make up.
So it should be last week in Destiny, LWID? Yeah, see, it just gets worse from here.
Stories from the Tower? No? They've made up their mind anyway. They're going to go with the TWID. But what we're going to go with, to start off with, is Bungie Day Giving Festival. Because this was announced at the beginning of the week. So we did tell you last week in the show, literally a couple of days ago when the show released, that Bungie Day Giving Festival 2023 will be launching on July 6th and running till July 23rd. And they have a full schedule of streamers, special community competitions, and awards for top fundraisers. Fundraisers? Yeah, for fundraisers and a whole week full of prizes. So
bang and start.
We have new emotes, new ghost shells, and that looks like a bath bomb to me, but could be anything.
There's absolutely a bath bomb and a giant, you can call this a balloon, but it is a giant lollipop heart candy. You can't convince me otherwise.
Okay. The ghost shell's pretty cool. I like that in the shape of a heart. A robotic heart that spouts more hearts. Yeah, very nice, very colourful. So if you donate $10, you get the heart-shaped exotic ghost shell, fully equipped with heart bubbles galore. Lovely. Ooh. $25 will get you the blue blood cells, this year's Bungie Day Giving Festival emblem. Is that the emblem, or is that? I'm not sure. It's a blue heart. That's not like a rectangular emblem thing. maybe that's what it looks like.
Yeah, maybe that's part of it. Yeah.
Yeah.
I
Okay.
will have to,
We'll go
donate
with that.
$25 and find out.
Yeah. Now, this is what you want, the $50 Helium Heart giving your bestie something to lift spirits emote. Yeah, there you go. So you get a cool emote. And $100 will get you the Bungie Day Emblem bundle. Every Bungie Day Emblem released over the past 5 years, all previously were retired. Were they retired, or did you do this last year? Because I vaguely remember that Cheese Forever did a video going, when Bungie do these things, I think they did this before, didn't they, with the heart emblems? Yeah. So this is all the heart emblems. This was last year that they gave those away. So if you fundraising, $777 Bungie Foundation Heart Emblem bundle will get you all previously retired heart emblems, 5 in total. I've got one of these. No, actually, maybe I've got 2 of these. So yeah, I have donated in the past.
I've got at least 2 of them.
Yeah.
The other 3 though have evaded me. I'm not sure it's worth $777 to get the other 2 or 3.
You sure? It's a fundraising bundle.
Am I sure, or is my wife sure? That's the real question we have to ask ourselves. I have a really hard time explaining that one.
My wife would be hard pressed if I said to her, I'm going to donate $100 to get some emblems in Destiny, the game that you love so much.
She'd be like, "What are you getting?" "Oh, I'm getting little pictures."
You're
getting little pictures. Yeah, no, I don't think that would fly at all.
Now, I'm not sure if this is going to go down with the Destiny community very well.
Oh, you don't think so? And why ever is that, Nitedemon?
For $1,777, you get the exclusive Marathon Collection 000 UESC t-shirt with a unique 0777 number printed on the back. And this number will be exclusive to the fundraiser who reaches this tier. Lovely.
But it's only 1,408 British pounds at the moment. So, I mean, you're saving yourself $300 versus what we'd have to pay. Because that's totally how exchange rates work.
Mm.
So yeah, so you can get your lovely, beautiful, exclusive marathon shirt that I know everyone is just chomping at the bit to get a hold of. And they do have a top 10 fundraisers so far. So the top 10 fundraisers for the campaign will receive a PlayStation game code of their choice from either The Last of Us Part 1, Last of Us Part 2, Ghost of Tsushima Director's Cut, Horizon Forbidden West, God of War Ragnarok, Gran Turismo 7, or Returnal. And the top 25 fundraisers will receive the limited edition Marathon Announced t-shirts. These shirts have never been offered to the public for sale. Ooh. Ah. So again, if you're interested on really, raising money and getting one of these, limited prizes, you too can. They also have a lifetime fundraising, which again, these are ones they've announced in the past, is for lifetime fundraising. The Lightkeepers Guild continues to expand the rewards to the community for their dedication and continued support. So they've got new incentive tiers. Now keep in mind, these are lifetime and for, groups of people, not just individual human beings giving money. But the newest tiers are at $25,000, $50,000, and $100,000 lifetime. Again, multiple years of this, each with a unique and extremely limited emblem plus shader combo. So for $25,000, they have the mediastinum emblem and the principled porphyry shader.
Okay.
It's lovely in red and black. Mm-hmm.
I do like these designs. They're very nice. They do remind me of Trials of Osiris, though. The red and gold one.
Yeah, they sort of have like a little flame and a cauldron sort of motif going, and then there's the stars and all like the swirls of Bungie and Destiny artwork. For $50,000, there's the Venakavi, I don't know, emblem and the Hearts of Gold shader, which looks very Trialsy. And then $100,000 is a Cordula emblem and the Argent Champion shader. Aha, words I can say. Now, the way they've put these shaders and emblems on the page, it looks like little faces because they've got the little flame eyeballs and then a big swoopy, smiley mouth underneath. So I just keep seeing faces looking back at me from these emblems. Oh, and there we go. And fun fact, each of the emblem names above is inspired by some form of the word heart.
Oh.
So the medius tinum one, it's a space within your chest cavity that holds your heart. The veni cave, they're the two large veins that carry blood back to the heart. The superior and inferior, those things. And the cordula is the name derived from the Latin word cor, C-O-R, meaning little heart.
Oh.
So there you go.
And then we have 7 days of prizes. So during week 2 of the Bungie Day Giving Festival, we will host our first 7 day of prizes. Each day there will be a special prize to win. And if you see the schedule below, so I'll let you know what's happening. July 13th will be the signed Lightfall Collector's Edition. So if you're already not playing Lightfall, you can get a signed Lightfall Collector's Edition. So that's nice. July 14th will be the Destiny plush bundle with lots of plush stuff. So your kids can have that. July 15th, Drifter Collectible Bundle. There you go, Peroty. One for you.
Perfect. Love it.
July 16th, Lord Shaxx statue. Doesn't shout at you, but,
Oh,
it's a good statue. July
it's your own
17th,
shouting.
we can have a Varric statue. July 18th will be the Witch Queen statue. That's pretty cool. And July 19th, for anybody over on Xbox that wants to transition, they've got a Sony PlayStation Game Code Bundle. Just the Game Code Bundle. You have to go and buy your PlayStation after that.
Mm-hmm. Very important. Yeah, I'm only there's a part of me as an Xbox player who's a little grumpy that we're back in PlayStation world because it feels like we're back in the early days of Destiny with the PlayStation exclusives, which I know these aren't exclusives, but it's like, if I want a game code to one of the games above, or if I get a game code bundle, it doesn't really help me.
It doesn't help on...
What am I going to do with
even
this?
on PC, it doesn't help on PC people, does it?
No, although it is worth mentioning, I did notice that if you haven't, again, like 19 said, if you haven't picked up Lightfall yet, it is on sale for half price on Steam right now. So instead of $50, it's $25. A special promotion through July 13th. So through the beginning of these giveaways, so you've got a week and a couple days until that sale ends. So if you haven't picked up Lightfall or Lightfall plus the annual pass, I'm not sure why you pick up the annual pass at this point in the life cycle, but hey, you can pick up the annual pass as well because that's also half price, $100. Well, that one's $100 down to $60. So not quite half price, only 40% off. But those two are both on sale. So again, even if you are on PlayStation or Xbox and haven't picked up Lightfall on PC, it's half price now for just Lightfall. So now's not a terrible time to do it.
And to round out the Bungie Day festivities, we have a community emblem competition. Now this sounded really cool. I was like, I could get behind this, and then I thought, I'm scared about entering my artwork, and if it's not very good, I'm not sure if I can handle the rejection. But their goal is to give everyone the opportunity to get involved with the campaign in a way that resonates with you. So whether through generous giving, raising money as a fundraiser, or simply spreading the word about the campaign, or now through your artistic talents. So they're proud to announce the first ever worldwide Bungie Community Emblem Art Competition. And one lucky winner's emblem design will be chosen to be made into an actual in-game emblem, which will be used for future fundraising campaigns. So they don't, specify that it has to be kind of a fundraising kind of emblem. This is where, Respawn should come in and go, Dragon Emblem, blah! For about half an hour, but he's not here, so haha.
So he can't. So we're not saying it has to be beautiful fan art of Commander Zavala. I'm not saying it has to be that, but it could be.
So beginning today, Guardians can submit their designs on Twitter using the hashtag emblematic. So that's hashtag EMBLEMATIC. To avoid potential bias, all submissions will be presented to a voting panel without identification information about the original artist. The final 3 designs will be voted on internally by a group of Bungie employees to determine the winner, and the winner will work with our art team to finalise the design to ensure it meets all necessary requirements. So below are some guidelines for submissions. The nameplate dimensions are 474 by 96 pixels, Other components of full emblem designs, icon, and header are not required for submission. There are no theme/color restrictions. The world is your oyster. Art must be 2D, flat, and non-animated. We're not gonna force it upon them to get animated logos at this point. They're not even having it in their contest. Submissions must include the hashtag emblematic, to be included in the competition. Branding, logos, and copywritten images cannot be used. Any hateful or explicit images will lead to immediate disqualification. This is not a popularity contest, and all submissions are subject to the policy seen here, which we will link in our show notes. And cool. So the submission period will open from today until July 13th, and the winner will be announced on July 20th in the TWID. And if you've got any questions, you can reach out to the charity events at bungie.com if you've got any questions. So, and good luck, Guardians.
Good luck. We believe in you.
Now,
Knight even doesn't believe in himself, so you should believe in yourself, and you should win.
Yeah,
And
you believe in yourselves. We've been invited to go and crash another podcast. Do you think we should go and crash another podcast?
I think we should go crash another podcast. I will mention that, of course, we've told you about all the fundraising, but we haven't told you where the money is going, which is secretly in the Night Demon's pocket. No, I'm just kidding. So this is going toward, when 2023 started, lots of devastating earthquakes in Turkey and Syria. Bungie, as they always do, leapt in to help. We as a community raised over $300,000 through direct relief and the International Rescue Committee. Your support enabled us to onboard 3 new partner hospitals into the Little Lights program, which provides pediatric patients with iPads containing age-appropriate entertainment, therapeutic play, and educational applications to provide comfort, distraction, and a sense of normalcy to their hospital stays. So, the money is going to good places, small children in the hospital, iPads to make their lives better. So, always worth it. So, if we're saying, hey, go give Bungie's, charitable arm money, that's where it's going. Not into Bungie's pockets, into the pockets of the little children.
Very nice. So I'm going to go and crash this other podcast and bring you along with me for the ride.
Yeah.
Let's see how this goes as we join TWID the Gatr, Hazelnt and T, Native Raider, and Sweatyspookz over in the Blue Blue Lounge podcast.
See you on the other side. So were you guys playing the same game of how do we get people in here? So there's permission somewhere we have to give them.
Is that Peroty? Oh, it's Nitedemon. Peroty.
Hello. We're here.
Guys, what's up?
Hey.
Oh, hey, you know what? I'll pause right now. What's up, guys? How you been? All right, fine.
It's International Thursday Let's Record a Destiny podcast night. Did you guys not get the cards that Bungie sent out and said everyone record your Destiny podcast tonight?
Everybody. You know what? We took it one step further. We even recorded one on Tuesday.
Ooh. No. Overachievers.
So it has to be the very first thing that's in my slot?
That's on your character. The energy.
In other words, I can't pick from the pool of items, right?
No.
Oh, man, this hurts, man.
Whenever you click on randomized weapons, it will give you a random weapon.
Oh, my God, man. I got to get rid of the iterative loop?
It's the wheel of misfortune, not the wheel of your choosing.
All right, I got an iterative loop. It's not crafted yet. It has fluted barrel, enhanced battery, grave robber, adrenaline junkie, and nanotech tracer rockets, of course. So I got to get rid of this, right? Okay.
Just a goodbye. Bye, friend.
Okay.
Do.
I don't even know how to.
Now you're at 598. Look at that. You are getting cleaned out.
What the hell? I'm at 596. How'd that happen?
If there's vault cleaning going, Night Demon might run the other direction awfully quick.
Yeah, you're scaring the hell out of me here.
Can you guys actually see my dim?
That's okay. They didn't get the rules, guys. We'll read it to them in a minute.
No, we're not trying to Peroty. It's a trap. Let's go.
Burn it all down. No, let's go. I'm ready to burn it all down.
Wait a minute. How am I supposed to get rid of it? I'm not in game right now.
Well, you'll delete it when you get in game.
Mark it as junk.
It'll be on your character.
Yep.
Yeah.
Fine.
Take the Sharpie on your screen and draw a big frowny face right over it so you'll remember.
I don't like this game.
Yep, right on your screen, the big frowny face.
Mm-hmm. That's how it works. I'll make the rules.
All right. Done. Who's next?
All right. So
I guess it's me.
a slight quick interruption. We are going to give Peroty and Nitedemon the rules right quick. So first and foremost, you don't actually have to delete anything there, fellas. But the reason we do this is to produce a little bit of story. As PvP means, we tend to have a little bit of attraction to some of our weapons. Sometimes it pulls a story. So that's why we like to randomize and pull a random weapon from your vault. Sometimes it's just a junk weapon. Sometimes you really worked hard for said weapon. Now, before we randomize, you are given the ability to save one legendary weapon. We do not consider exotics because you can pull them for your collections. And typically, we like to ask you which weapon you'd like to save before we pull. If there's any, sometimes there's not. And then, we just pull from your vault and take a look at a random weapon. In this case, it's a challenge to delete it, Nitedemon. All right. Sorry there, Hazel Giver.
Okay, so truth be told, I went through my vault like after or during Lightfall, and I kind of got rid of most of the stuff that Dim didn't give me the thumbs up on. So unfortunately, in doing that, this is a Forge's Pledge pulse rifle.
Ooh.
Iron Banner.
With arrowhead break, flared magwell, tunnel vision, and rampage.
What's your recoil direction?
Recoil direction is it's got a range masterwork, by the way. And the recoil direction is 81. But I mean, I can always I don't even have a mod on it.
If you put a counterbalance mod, it's 100.
Dude, you fared worse than I did.
You're welcome.
Yeah, that actually recoil direction would be 96.
Oh yes.
Close enough.
Yeah.
You won't feel the difference.
I mean, it's straight up and down because it's
it's in the 90s.
5. Yeah. All right. I've never used it though, so I will go ahead and just mark it as junk. And Gatr looks distraught by this.
I'm fine. Nothing to see here. I'm fine.
Yeah.
Rub some dirt in it.
Yeah. So, all right. I have marked it as junk. So I will go ahead and delete that on my Titan next time I log in.
There you go. Oh, wait. Well, ladies and gentlemen, there's been a knock at the door, and who did we welcome into the lounge but Nitedemon and Peroty from Two Titans and a Hunter show.
Hello.
Welcome.
Hello.
You came in at the perfect time.
Well, yeah, at the end, so that I don't have to delete anything, I guess. So
What are we having Nitedemon delete? No, I think we can find one thing. I believe in us.
All right, I deleted one thing. You know what? I'll do this. I'll delete another. So I'm going to go into Dim right now.
Okay. I'll do it too.
I'm going to click on my emblem for my character, and it gives me a drop-down menu. Whenever I scroll to the bottom, I see randomized loadout, but I'm not going to click it. To the right is weapons only. That I am going to click. So I'll click it now, randomize, boom. Now that I've been given 3 weapons, I need to narrow it down further by rolling a 3-sided dice. So 1, 2, 3, and we have a number 3. So that means heavy's getting deleted this time. And for me, it is a memory interdict void grenade launcher with impulse amplifier and chain reaction. Oh, that would have been such a good one for PvP, but you know what? Sometimes Ninja Dado comes into your vault and blesses by deleting things.
I've got no issue with this game. It's just given me something I would have deleted anyway. So there you go. There's my one done.
All right. What did you get, Nitedemon?
Oh, I got Until Its Return shotgun in the primary. I got a first in, last out shotgun in secondary. And then a Reach Regret in the heavy slot. So I'm quite
Okay.
happy to get rid of the top one because it's a craftable weapon. So
How about that Reed's regret though?
what about it?
He's got.
So we
16 more.
rolled.
He'll be
We
fine.
rolled we rolled a 3-sided dice to narrow down which one was supposed to be the deleted selected weapon, which would have been a 3 in this case, which is
Oh,
heavy.
Yeah, you can have that as well. I don't care.
Welcome to the show.
I was going
Night
to say, I
Demon.
think we just lost Night Demon. No.
No, that's fine. You can have
No,
that
we
as well.
didn't. We didn't upset him yet, so we're good. We're doing good. We're not going to push it. We're good.
Yeah, we're not doing several rounds of this, are we? We're just doing one round of
No.
getting.
Well, just for Night
Great.
Demon. No, just kidding.
Well, thank you for inviting us anyway, guys. It's been fun. Thank you. Goodbye.
Parody, you're next, sir.
Where was the random? I see all the random things. Which thing am I looking for?
Bottom of
Okay.
the list, it says random loadout, and then if you scroll over to the right, it says weapons only.
Yeah, on your character, you got to pick a character. There's 3 dots next to your character banner.
Gotcha. Okay.
Click that all the way at the bottom.
Weapons
Randomize
only.
loadout, and just make sure it says weapons only.
Let's go. Let's throw some things on the hunter where there's room.
And let's roll the dice. I got a number 2 for you, Parody.
All right. So let's see. So my lingering dread is going to be safe here in the primary slot.
Mm-hmm.
The Marcelon C grenade launcher, I don't know what it is, safe in the heavy slot. So we are saying goodbye to the Wizened Rebuke with Skulking Wolf, Backup Plan, Offhand Strike, and Liquid Coils.
Ooh,
Goodbye.
backup plan.
Liquid Coils, though, extends that already really long charge time, so that's not so much a loss.
No,
I'm
it's
glad I didn't play that round.
It's never been used, and it's been sitting in the vault with its other 2 or 3 or 4 friends. So
Winning.
This
Perfect.
is how all us hoarders can clean our vaults out. We'll just go for several rounds, like we'll just keep spinning the revolver, right?
It's
Spin in the
like
chamber.
that game when you go camping and there's one drunken fool that brings an arrow and a bow and just shoots in the air and says, "Uh-oh."
I can catch it.
I swear that's definitely an American thing that doesn't happen over here at all.
and he's not here tonight, so we're good.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah,
dear.
I'm glad I didn't play that round too, Gatr. Mine was the BXR that I have that
Ooh.
has snapshot sights, accurized rounds, arrowhead break, and kill clip.
Ooh.
You know what mine was?
Hmm.
A Mindbender's Ambition. Rampage. It's pulse accurized rounds, Rampage, pulse monitor. It had full choke though.
That's fine if it were like
That's not
3
too
years
bad,
ago.
Gatr. That's not too bad, actually. I mean, of course, you would prefer to have like something like opening shot over Rampage on a shotgun, but everything else. What's your masterwork?
It had masterworked.
If it's handling, don't throw it out.
It's masterwork range.
Range. Okay, range is very good as well. Do not throw that out.
All right, I'm deleting it. I'm playing along.
There you go.
I'm deleting it. Marking his junk.
Look at that. BBL peer pressure.
Hazel's rubbing
Blueberry
off on me.
Lounge.
There we go.
I have one of those mind benders that I will never
you go
delete.
back
Let me
quick.
see. Where is it? Right quick.
Boy, don't get Emerald Nips in here.
Don't
Mind benders.
don't tell Dim that. Don't tell Dim that. Dim will be like, oh, this one, this ID right here. That's the one you want to keep. No.
Poof.
I will never delete this shotgun. The reason for that is because I farmed for the adept version and it was the exact same roll that I had on the non-adept that I like so much. And I put 700 crucible kills on the non-adept version. I had to start over again, of course, so that number's not so high. It's at 277 on the adept version, but this is a range masterwork. This one's even better because it's got like all of the god rolls in terms of both perk sets. I could either go corkscrew rifling or full choke. This particular one, accurized rounds, threat detector, and then steady hands. Now, steady hands, I know that sounds kind of funny, but whenever you pair that with, I don't know, I guess in my case, a hand cannon, easy swapping, it certainly with an ace of spades, I don't know. There's something to be said about steady hands. I think more people should try different weapons with that perk on it. Different combination set. So if you happen to see it, try it before you delete it, because on a shotgun, it is very gratifying to have instant handling at all the way up to 100. But anyways, moving on.
It's a shotgun. No matter the role.
I think he says that to everybody.
Yeah.
Just so we delete it.
I got one that's got range. I put an adept range mod on it. It's a the adept version and fragile focus and all the good, all the things to make it super rangy. And I could be point blank and nothing. So I don't. Maybe it's got too much range that it like reset to where it has 0 range. I don't know, man. But I can't stand that shotgun.
Why use a shotgun when you have a sidearm?
I've been using fusions. I've been getting used to the fusions. It's pretty nice.
They've let me down so many times, Native.
I as well have been getting used to the fusions to the point where the other day in our private match, I think I got Fluffy one time. I don't know if it was Fluffy or if it was somebody else, but somebody else was crossing the map. We were on Endless Vale, I think it was. That's where Toilet is, correct? So we were on that map, and somebody was crossing in the air to my right, and I mapped him in the air, and I couldn't believe it because I actually had to track him in the air in order for each bolt to actually hit him.
Yeah, it was me.
That was you? Okay, yeah.
That's why he's trying to get everybody to delete their shotguns, right? No, you're talking about the fusion, right? Sorry.
Yeah, Fluffy was there and he's like, I seen that. Okay, yeah. That was a very gratifying moment because I should not have hit that.
No, you shouldn't have.
But it was a skill shot, all right?
So this randomizing weapons and deleting weapons, is this a game that you kind of play quite regularly, or?
Yeah, this is a segment of our show that we've been doing ever since Raider joined that we call Wheel of Misfortune.
Ah.
Fun game.
Mm-hmm.
Not so much.
Like, I will never be back.
That's why we've had no repeat guests.
Known that we were coming in on this segment, no. We'd have avoided this one.
It was perfect.
Well,
Night Demon's
Night
like me.
Demon,
He won't get rid
I'll
of
put it to you this way. You'll never forget. However, ladies and gentlemen, listeners, with that being said, we are going to take a short break, and whenever we get back, we're going to do a small and slight introduction to Two Titans and a Hunter, and then we are going to dive right into the show topic being the current state and the future of Destiny 2 PvP, right after this.
All right, it's gonna be great.
I couldn't hold the right as long, I couldn't do it as long. Okay.
Do you literally pause the live show?
I got a break setup like animation.
Nice.
That
That's
goes
pretty
in.
cool. Okay, cool.
Yep.
Right back.
I guess.
Yep, for sure. I'm gonna grab a quick refreshment and get a drink, and I as well will be right back.
These guys are fancy, Night Demon. They've got
There's videos
segments and plans and video, and they let people leave. We hold our guests hostage.
Yeah. They've all turned their cameras off though now. I can't see them.
Everybody needs a little private time. That's all. Just us and the bears staring at us.
Okay, so Night Demon, my headphones are off at the moment, so I cannot hear you. But what I am doing is I'm going to get a link for the show notes for you and Peroty, and I'm going to send them to you guys in a DM right quick. Going off air.
Okay.
I'd say okay to him, but he can't hear us. So
I'm so confused that they're actually doing professional stuff. There's breaks.
Yeah, this is crazy nonsense. I don't like this. They've got plans.
Yeah. Oh look. The Blueberry Lounge, episode 22, featuring Todd the Gator and Hazel, and now Peroty and Nitedemon have crashed.
Dun, 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 dun.
So, things that we have missed because we've only just joined. How's your week been? Been good? Peroty, about you?
It's been fine. Yeah, it's been a week.
You did fishing in Destiny. I did fishing in Destiny. Guest introductions. I'm Peroty. Yeah, and he's Night Demon. We went over that. Agenda for the show. There's going to be guests' questions. So hopefully they've done that.
There's stuff.
Yes,
there's the PvP.
We've missed out on the guest questions. So I'm going to interview you. You guys. No, that's not us. No, we can't ask that question.
No, that doesn't work that way.
Tell the listeners a brief description of who you are and what you're all about to include in your podcast. Go on,
fishing.
You've got fishing. We are the
fishing.
Destiny Fishing podcast.
You've heard of the Destiny Fun Police. This is actually we're from the Destiny Fishing Police podcast. We're actually making sure every fisherman and fisherwoman is licensed throughout the game. It's a lot of work, but it's really satisfying work in the end.
Also, since you guys have been friends and co-hosting for so long, describe your counterpart using only 3 words and elaborate the reasons for your chosen words. You could do me.
Houndish YouTube streamer. And because you're houndish. I mean, I feel like that needs no further explanation than that.
I was going to say fun, reliable, and...
Hey, you can't pick it yourself, Night Demon.
What?
No, I didn't do him. He's doing me. We're
just doing you. Oh,
we're
sorry.
We're we're trying to have some private time. You guys having your private time. We're having our private time. No,
Sorry.
see, we're actually just catching up on the agenda. We missed some things. We're just making sure we've caught up to where everybody else is, so we're not lagging behind the entire time.
We're going back from the wheel of misfortune, so we're just asking questions.
Yeah, we're just making sure we cover the whole agenda. That's all. We wouldn't want to give you an incomplete show.
And my third word would be friend. So yeah, you're my friend. You're fun, and you're dependable, reliable. What else can we do? If you were given the keys to the kingdom at Bungie, what changes are you implementing first? And you cannot say Gambit forever.
I don't need to. It's already here. It's not going anywhere. Sweet businesses for everybody.
Yeah. Sweet business Gambit.
Can't have a Davy Jones's locker without an ocean.
Yeah.
Listen, the Halo Firefight is Gambit. It is. Just rename it, add some more grunts in there, give me a grunt birthday party, have their heads explode, and we're good.
Now, Peroty, are there any weapons types or classes, subclasses that you want to get better with in PvP?
Can I just request a total rework of the Stasis Titan, just as a whole, so I'm not a drunken toddler?
And then we can skip the Gatr and Hazel questions because they're related to just them. There you go. We've caught up.
Oh, right? I'm sure we could come up with some for you too.
No, it's fine. No, it's fine.
Can I ask them? I can ask them if you need questions.
I mean, hey, the one that says Gatr, why don't you ask your questions to Night Demon? And for Hazel, why don't you ask your questions to Peroty? Boom, done.
Okay.
Mint. It's like we podcasted before or something.
We were just saying while you guys were away, you're so professional, you make us look bad.
No. Lies.
Yeah.
All right, guys, we're going to go back to live, okay?
I thought we were live.
Nah, not yet. We're still on the break. All right, 3, 2, 1.
All right, and ladies and gentlemen, we are back. Coming back to the show, and you know what? We love you guys so much. The listener, that we're going to give you a part 2. A part 2 of what, Sweaty? Part 2 of what? Part 2 of an interview. Because why not? We got 2 Titans and a Hunter on deck. And we got a couple of questions. So, you know what? Let's start with this. Night Demon.
Yes.
Peroty. You guys are well known from the community. And our typical legacy questions have probably never been answered by you a million times. So let's switch things up by going with this. Tell the listeners a brief description of who you are and what you're all about to include your podcast.
I'm Peroty, and I was dragged into doing a podcast with Night Demon over there. And he brought along Respawn, who shouts a lot, and we discussed Destiny, and just Destiny, and all about Destiny.
And I'm Night Demon, and I love playing a Titan more than anything on Earth. And I decided that this needed to be a podcast because I started raiding with these silly Americans, and I was like, listen, we can do this better. We can do this Britisher. We can make this happen. So we did. And we said, we're adults. No one can stop us. No one's going to tell us not to do a podcast. So here we are.
Yeah. We kept asking Night Demon all the questions. So he said, I'm just going to do a podcast and answer all the questions.
Truly. Back in the band days, band BAND, before we were even on Discord, it was Night Demon answers all the questions you have about Destiny. So he's like, I might as well bring this into a formal thing versus just text, sending you text answers back and forth.
That's awesome. So let's go with this too. since you guys have been friends and co-hosts for so long, this is always interesting, mixing it up here. Describe your counterpart using only 3 words and elaborate the reasons why.
So, Nitedemon, do we answer in the same way we did while the secret recording was happening, or do we keep it the same so they can enjoy 2 versions in the editing process?
I was just going to go with what I said in the secret version.
Ooh, go ahead.
What was it? It was dependable, my friend, and fun.
And I'll go with something different than the secret version and just say absolutely relentless, knowledgeable, and a hoarder. And I mean hoarder and I do mean hoarder in the nicest way possible. Because you're thinking, oh, there's no way he has a version of this, version 1 armor with this perk set in it. No, he absolutely does. He can find you the thing and reference it because he has one.
Hell yeah, that's awesome.
Only sometimes.
Well, hopefully we helped you out a little bit before we went to break with the wheel. If you want to roll again, we can. I mean, it's up to you, man. All the time in the world.
No. I'm fine with being 593 in the vault at the moment. You just leave me alone.
We do need Bungie to tell us, though, and I'll put the plea out here. Bungie, which class did the best during the Guardian Games in class-based supremacy? Because we have a bet going between Nitedemon and Respawn, but we need an answer of which class prevailed, because there's another item in the vault at stake to be deleted, chosen by the winner of the bet. But Bungie has to tell us. We need the info, Bungie. Come on.
See, I think you guys already kind of hit on this a little bit, but with the band thing. But why Destiny? Why do you guys want to podcast about Destiny? You can podcast about anything, right? Anything in the world. There's a podcast for it. Why Destiny?
Well, I think at the time, I think the same reason that Gatr was saying that he started his, that there were a lot of podcasts that were shutting down, that were Destiny podcasts that I listened to, that I really enjoyed. There was Guardian Radio, which was the main one that was shutting down. There was Crucible Radio as well. I think they were slowly coming to an end. The Destiny Reset suddenly kind of just stopped. And I was like, I like listening to podcasts, and these guys were really informative. Why not, continue that and just do a podcast? And I asked the 2 craziest members of our clan that wouldn't say no to come and join. And,
that's awesome.
You don't disappoint British Dad. You don't do it.
But it was. I mean, being in the clan, it was like there was constant questions of how do we go through this raid? What do we do with this mechanic? What? And I was constantly pointing people in the direction of go and watch this video by MTash. Go and watch this one by Fallout. This one will tell you shotgun cones. This one will tell you how to do this encounter and things like that. And I was thinking, why not just turn that into a podcast and say, these guys know what they're talking about. I've watched this video. This is, broke it down slightly and said, go and watch this for the full description. And then we kind of elaborated that over time. We would go into descriptions about how to play Crimson Days when that was a thing, how to do the solstice events and anything that was kind of coming up. And I would constantly keep notes over the years of all the different things. I know Bungie would slightly change it over the years, but we would kind of go back over those and say, right, this is what was available last year. Bungie have a history of changing it, so look out for this, this, and this. And sometimes we'd get it right, sometimes we wouldn't. But it's just, and it's just been ever evolving since.
Absolutely. I couldn't agree any more with that, for sure. I mean, I know one of those experiences for Hazel as a viewer first and a listener first, even before sitting in this seat where I'm at now as a podcaster, even a content creator in general. Excuse me. Little memory going back to D1. Now, I'm probably going to get the name of the raid wrong, and that's okay. I am happy to get that wrong and to be corrected, but I think it's Crota. Was that the one that you had a lot of Sherpas on? I think it was.
Yeah. I did it 100 times. Yeah.
So,
Nice.
I mean, I would equate that type of experience. I mean, I remember you speaking to that experience one time, typically as like one of your more favorite experiences, and maybe one of the more cementing purposes as to what pushed you further into leading up to where we are today type of thing.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, actually, I Sherped another 2 people through it just like this past weekend. It was Mr. Monkey and Metal Mark.
Nice.
So, yeah, I mean, their first Crota raids, and I was just like, okay, well, don't blink, you'll miss it. So,
And I know another one of those moments, if I'm not mistaken, for Gatr is even just that absolute very first moment of taking that first step out of the ship on top of all the rusty cars, just looking out across the environment and like taking those first few steps, really exploring the environment and just really taking in what Bungie had to offer. I know he spoke to that experience. Something that, and leading up to that experience, even before that, was even just watching some of the trailers, being involved with some of the hype, and then again to go back to that experience with that favorite image that he always has in the front of his mind. So, I mean, that impacting moment has led to Gatr where he's at today, as a podcaster, as a content creator, as a YouTuber. And I would even say the same for myself. Whenever I started content creation, I started on a different video game called Curse, but you know what? I did not enjoy my time there. It had nothing to do with the game. It's just that it wasn't Destiny. And at the time, the reason I started on Cursed and starting as a content creator is because you have to look at the catalog of what you're going up against. And I didn't believe in myself. I was kind of hoping to put some success in there at some measure. So I went with Cursed, and then I learned all of my lessons there. Fantastic lessons, by the way. Then I came to Destiny, and it's been fantastic. I've been enjoying my time, and because I've been enjoying my time, I've been able to make better content, and because I'm enjoying my time making better content, well, the viewership is a hell of a lot better. So, and not only that, but the thing that I think that I really like about this game entirely is like, and I've always said it, and I'm gonna sound like a broken record every time I say it, but it's a community, 100%. I mean, heck, even this table here.
Yeah, for sure, man.
Yeah, definitely.
We got to make it sound nice now because it's not going to sound nice once in a few moments, okay?
build us up to tear us down later. I love it.
You know how it is.
The
Speaking
calm
of which-
before the storm.
Let's get into this show topic because I think there's a lot to unpack here. And I think it's going to be a good conversation with
It's just
everybody.
the future of PvP. I mean, how heated could that get?
Yeah, just don't look on Twitter, I guess, right?
Yeah, or YouTube, or anywhere. Reddit.
Internet.
Reddit.
Yes.
What's Reddit?
There it is. What's Reddit? So for the first thing we're going to talk about here is the hot and kind of relative topic in the D2 community, especially on YouTube, and that was excuse me, Glad. He put out a video, and it was titled "The Truth That Destiny 2 Players Don't Want to Hear," and it was about 11 minutes long. A rant in a sense, but he also had some valid points that I can agree with, and some of the that I was just like, man, that's a little much. You know what I mean? So I want to kind of just talk about this, and then after that, we'll get into True Vanguard's response that he did. That was another video, about 41 minutes or something like that. It was a long one. I'm not going to lie to you, but also valid ass points that as far as reacting to that video and some of the things he said, especially TV being a PvP main, right?
Mm-hmm.
So let's go around the table, guys.
You have notes? Oh
All
my
right.
god!
The one that is prepared. Let's hear yours first.
And
what are you thinking about this?
Oh boy. No, I think Glad nailed it all right on the head. I know that that True Vanguard. I mean, when I heard what Glad said, I mean, we all know who Glad is. I mean, Glad's the guy that did a Crota raid with the the what was it? The drums from Rock Band. I mean, that was his claim to fame. He's a PvP or a PvE guy. But I mean, everything that he was doing was basically just, or he said is, I mean, to me, it was just spot on. I mean, like, why is the PvP crowd still here if they've been bitching about this for so long?
Yeah. I think one of the big things that he said that stuck out to me the most was he also said that, Destiny is a PvE centric game with PvP intertwined, right?
Mhm.
But he also said he followed that up with without PvP, it's not Destiny.
Right.
So like I was like, you know what, that was perfect because I can totally agree with that. And I think that's absolutely true because I mean, you go and grind all these weapons to just do more PvE and grind for more weapons. Like when you get to like have fun and kill other guardians with them and test them out. But that's coming from a PvP, focused player as well. So
I mean, it's not even that. I mean, it's like, I mean, Gatr has this conspiracy theory that basically Bungie is going to remove PvP from Destiny 2. And they're going to say like, hey, they're going to put up a big sign saying, hey, go play Marathon for PvP. And that's just not how it works. I mean, you take away that PvP component. I mean, even as lackluster as it is at the moment, it's still intrinsic to the game.
Yeah, agreed.
Do you think though that the problem that we've got is that because Bungie have been quiet for so long on the whole PvP situation, do you think that they were hopefully trying to wait it out until we got to the reveal in August to go, right, this is what we've got planned? I mean, they gave us a brief overview of this year that we'd kind of get one reprise map, one new map, and something else, coming to PvP, which was Supremacy again. But it was like, I know it's very minimal at the moment, and maybe it's just a reaction to the community over the last year and a half of like, they're scrambling to, at that point, they were scrambling to try and get PvP back on track. And we all know that like game development takes quite a while to kind of get going again. And if they'd taken the main players and put them on Marathon, that they then needed to replace those players. And now we're kind of, they're going to get they're getting their footing, and they're going forward from the reveal in August. There's going to be some big news. Do you think that's possibly the case?
I think, like Sweaty said, I think Bungie's keeping their cards very close to their chest right now. They don't want to reveal too much. Yeah. I mean, because if anybody says anything at Bungie, Twitter's all over them. I mean, my God, some of these guys are getting death threats because they mention, as a matter of fact, that a certain Titan exotic's not coming back. That's uncalled for. That can't happen. So they probably said, you know what? That's it.
They did make a Destiny 2 team Twitter account for that.
Exactly.
Well,
exactly. Right. So, I mean, people are getting death threats, really? I mean, it's a video game. I mean, don't get me wrong. I love Destiny, but it's still a video game. I still got to go outside and work every day, and I come home and kiss my wife and eat dinner and go to movies and have fun. Destiny's my hobby, but I'm not going to put a death threat against someone because I don't agree with what they say or they're trying to go against me. My view on this is Glad, number one, is not a PvP player. That's well established. He thrived and built his name on raid Sherpas and running through and doing a lot of raid content, which has nothing to do with PvP. And number two, I kind of felt like True Vanguard was being kind of not called out, but it seemed like that video was very tilted to him and people that make their living streaming PvP on Twitch or YouTube or whatever. And I was very, what's the word? I was very surprised that True Vanguard wasn't much more animated about it, because this is his living. About that reaction video he did about what Glad did. And I thought Glad it sounded to me like his chat, it was just nagging him about the PvP, and he was tired of hearing about it. And then he started ranting on this video. And I felt it was a little harsh, because the number one thing about PvP is they promised us certain things and they didn't deliver on them. It's like they almost just forgot about stuff.
Okay. Well, okay.
Like the new maps and regenerated maps.
So, all right. I just got a question. Okay. So PvP got a bunch of shit in the beginning. Okay, you got 3 maps and 2 maps in Warmind, 5 maps in Forsaken, and then 3 in Shadowkeep. And then like it kind of tailed off after that. Okay. And then Bungie said, "Hey, you know what? We're going to help out and we're going to focus on PvP and stuff like this." Nowhere in there. I mean, they said we're going to open the tap. Whatever that means. But and I watched TV's video. Unfortunately, I had to go back to it once I suggested that we talk about this.
Mhm.
But when I went back and I finished watching it, it was just basically I feel that he had unrealistic expectations as well as, if he's talking for the PvP crowd, that y'all had unrealistic expectations about what open the tap meant. And because you kept mentioning TV and I was holding off on it just because, we were going to talk about Glad's portion first. But it's just, I just think it's unrealistic expectations that the PvP crowd had.
It's never easy to speak on somebody else's behalf. I'm going to start with that. So to say that, well, I speak for any crowd in particular, I'm going to start with always take that with a grain of salt because it's still coming from an individual. That being said, in terms of Glad, forgive me, listener, but he just sounds like an angry dad.
Yes.
He just sounds
like he'd been nagged.
An old, not like, I'm not saying he is, I'm just saying it sounded like he was just an overworked, overtired, never appreciated, neglected, overworked dad. That's the only way I could put it. And he's just like, leave me alone. I don't care. I've already moved on from this topic. This is old news. And if you bring it up, I'm going to bring up old feelings of how I feel towards it. Here's the bitter truth of how I think about all of it. That's just the impression I was left with, I'm going to say. I'm not saying those are his words. I'm not saying Glad is an old dad. I'm just saying that is the impression that I was kind of left with at the end of it. And then True Vanguard, I felt like painted the stage of a mediator, if that makes sense. It's like, okay, dad's angry. I'm going to help you understand why that dad and mom, Bungie, are angry right now. And, mediating is okay. The only thing that the individual as a consumer has to keep in mind is, as a consumer, he's also an individual. Speaking from his individual experience, probably from, I would say, his acquaintances as well, a large portion of them, may I add. However, if he does not speak from a place that you identify from, like, do not be mistaken, do not be offended, do not be upset. We're non-conventional players here. What I do find in common with both of these things leading up to what I would say about it all, there's a genuine love for this game. What is it? We go to Call of Duty, we go to Apex Legends, we go to Diablo 4s, we go to all these other games looking for this particular feeling. Some sort of identification, customization, feeling powerful. How do I want to be represented in an environment? And how do I enhance those experiences? Well, you do that with loot. And then how good is the loot? And what advantages does said loot give to me in over whatever nuanced situation it is that's represented? The bottom line in this particular topic, of course, being the PvP crowd. So let's bring it into the topic, because that's what everything is really umbrella covering at the end of the day. Everybody feels like it's been raining a lot in PvP. We're all been huddled too close together for too long under the same umbrella, and everybody's starting to get now. That's the way I look at it. And you know what? Yeah, 100%. You can't deny that it's been raining out there for a long time. And a lot of this maybe was a stage of expectation set up, yes, by Bungie. But I do believe that they are actively working it out. I do think that they are listening. I think that they are being smart at the moment by being quiet, because in the past, from the PvP community, unfortunately, and it saddens me to confirm that Gatr is correct, that CMs, Bungie devs, the people that we spoke about earlier that said are people that are probably experiencing things like Diablo 4 and the rewarding experiences of the different mechanics that has to offer, that, you know, again, the bigger picture idea, coming back to the main point, these are people at the end of the day. They do not deserve to be attacked, and they have been personally attacked in the past, which is my personal belief, again, an opinion only, and bolding opinion, that why they're so quiet, because they have to protect themselves, because they've been in this situation before. Their numbers are likely, I'm not going to say confirmed, but probably likely fewer. Probably working under more pressure, as you can see if you look in any social space at all relating to Destiny right now. And I think they're just observing and collecting the information, seeing the absolute hottest of hot topics that are the hottest handle on the door, so that way they can address it when the time is appropriate. Yes, we are leading up to Final Shape. It's around the corner. We know it's coming. And to mention and to boot, this cycle is a cycle that happens every year, and I can identify that. Although, albeit, this is different. And the reason I said last week that I thought was different, and it stuck with me, is because we're coming to the tail end of expectations. I think there's more to come, but I can't confirm that. That's just my opinion, and I do hope that there is more to come, because the small steps that they've taken I've liked, except maybe the landing of the Trials matchmaking. I like their intention. We were excited all last season for it. We were following it, looking forward to it, and looking forward to playing with our friends. But where it landed, and the silence after implementation on where it landed, I think is having a rippling effect under our boots, encompassed with the rain that we've been standing in under that umbrella for such a long time, to put it into an analogy. Is that fair to say?
Yeah, I think you encompassed that pretty well.
I didn't understand. Can you repeat?
No.
Go for a walk.
Can you say that all over again? One more time?
That was very well put, Sweaty.
Yeah, no, it was, man. Oh, for sure.
I said something similar on our show last week regarding the Eververse store, because we were talking about the Eververse store and the microtransactions that Aztecross had a complete meltdown on.
Mm-hmm.
And I think the problem was there, and I pinpointed it down to the fact that Bungie said only at one point that the Whisper of the Worm ornaments paid for the Outbreak Perfected mission. And I think the community ran with that and went, well, everything we purchase in the Eververse store is now going to be going towards everything in Destiny. And that's not the case. They've never said that. It's just that one quote has kind of been blown out of proportion of everything that you pay for with silver in the Eververse store goes towards Bungie. And it doesn't. We know this, but a lot of people don't see that because of what Bungie said with that just one quote. It's some things can get blown out of proportion, so that you can understand why they stay quiet on other things.
Yeah, I'm glad you touched on the cycles of Destiny, because again, you've been playing this game long enough. You see the cycles of hype come and go. You see, we're in that point of the season where everyone's like, "Oh, the game's dying, everything's terrible." Come August and the reveal, "Oh my God, Bungie did it again!" All the content will be right back to everything's been saved. But I think it's sort of even worse right now, in that we're also in the middle. We're in the middle of a trilogy for content, because Witch Queen came out. That was the beginning of our story. Now we're in Lightfall. We're in that awkward middle trilogy period where we started the story. There's nothing wrapping up. We're just sort of in the middle of this, pushing the plot along. And then the final shape is, the third part of our trilogy. So it's like we're in a bad spot. PvP is feeling really neglected, and we're sort of in the holding pattern between, hey, the Witch Queen was out with that was great, and the final shapes would be incredible, and now we're just sort of in the middle of the middle at the end of sort of where everyone's patience is and where the game sits right now. And of course, they announced Marathon. And everyone's going, well, obviously, everyone's looking for a whipping boy. Everyone's looking for, hey, what's wrong with this? Honestly, I saw both the Glad video and the True Vanguard response and sort of skipped them this week because honestly, in my brain, I was sort of like, this is this week's Astrocross video where Astrocross quoted Astrocross quoted Dado. I'm like, this is this week's outrage train that we're going to ride for the week. Next week, someone else will be the main character. We'll be talking about that. It's like, these things go on and on. I mean, part of it is like, yes, you have, all valid points. These are, and I'm sure, again, you're a big streamer. You have a large community. I'm sure Glad was absolutely frustrated with people asking him over and over about it.
Yeah, well put, man.
Yeah,
Seriously.
I know Grenader Jake's another one who, he's been streaming Trials. If you were to think of a poster boy for Trials of Osiris, I can think of no one better than Grenader Jake, who's been at this 10, 12 hours, day in, day out, weekend after weekend after weekend for years, who's also getting the point of going, I think it's time. And I wonder if some of it, too, is just plain burnout, too. I think some,
That's it.
like Dado made the video this week of, I've been doing, I will have been doing this for 10 years in Come Final Shape, day in and day out. Content creation is hard. It is a slog. Whether you're streaming, whether you're YouTubing, to a lesser degree, but still to a degree, podcasting, you are staying up with this game. You are staying involved. You are putting things out day after week for years. And if you've been doing this since 2014, that's a long time. You're tired.
Imagine how the devs feel.
Yeah, exactly. You've been going through all this, to say nothing of the global worldwide change that we have all gone through with life and work and the complications around that.
Yeah.
With the global pandemic that nobody had on their bingo card for the first part of the 2020s. I think we're, it's like the perfect storm of all these things coming together of we're tired, we're exhausted, and we're all dealing with trauma and looking for a place to offload it. And sometimes that's a streamer's comment section, sometimes that's a Bungie dev, sometimes it's whatever.
I often put the analogy that in order to restore, you have to destroy. So you have to tear it down in order to build it back up again. Now, I'm not saying we have to destroy Destiny and set it on fire, but what I am saying is sometimes there's peaks and valleys. Right now, we're in a valley, and that's okay. But the valley is leading to something. We're amazed today on Twitter. He said, I'm quitting Destiny. And I'm like, you know what? Good for you, man. Because you're probably tired too, and you want to be happy, and you deserve to be happy. So do what makes you happy, man. Absolutely, and I support that 100%.
If you don't enjoy it, then don't do it anymore.
So
exactly.
That also leaves, room for folks like us who are here just non-conventional players enjoying the game just to enjoy the game. Like that's what it should be, in my opinion. But again, at the same time, they've developed an empire where the foundation is this game. So I understand whenever you build your empire so high, it's a pretty long fall. I get it. But at the same time, where I'm at, I love this game. Yes, there's issues. There's always going to be outliers for sure. And what's responsible is what we do about it. Do we sit here and go at each other in a toxic way and take away from each other's lives over pardon my French here, listeners, ladies and gentlemen, but take away from each other's lives over a video game? No. Get over yourselves. It's okay to take breaks if Destiny is not for you at the moment. It's okay because there are other games that are deserving of your attention. Yes, Gatr, that's right, buddy. I love you too.
Battlefield podcast win. Oh, sorry.
Oh, zing!
Hey, it was fun while I did it.
But
Was it
that
really,
Bungie's
though?
going to put an update at some point. They are going to say something at some point. They always do at some point. But in the meantime, I'm going to set out a challenge to the community. Don't shoot yourselves in the foot in the meantime.
Yeah. I think the other thing that Peroty hit the nail on the head with is the pandemic. The pandemic shifted everything.
Yep.
I think Bungie is still working remotely, which causes, vast amounts of problems for people just in normal day jobs. Just so for them to put out expansion after expansion and still deliver what they're delivering it's been fantastic. You know, I mean, yes, we've still got issues with the game, and they do address that in this week's TWID. But just for what it was with the pandemic, it must have had a vast knock-on effect in the whole gaming industry, not just Destiny.
So before we dive into some of what we think are the current issues and things like that, I'd like to start out with some positives here, because obviously there's a reason we're still here. Obviously there's a reason we're still around. And I'm going to start with some of the reasons why I like a Destiny 2 PvP and why I'm still around. And yes, it 110% entirely has to do with gun feel. That's where it starts for me. I started on Xbox. And I would use weapons like bows. I would use weapons like shotguns, SMGs, pulse rifles, auto rifles. Coming from Call of Duty, certainly auto rifles. But I found that anytime I had a bounty, Gatr, if I had anything that involved a hand cannon on controller, on console specifically, if I had anything that had to do with PvP, like, it terrified me legitimately for like the whole first year that I played, because I noticed that I could go over to Modern Warfare and I could go into the open world and I could be number one from kill slaying and tactical play. But when it came to Destiny, it was a whole other ball game, and I had to rewire how I approached it and how I thought about it. And I had to learn more about my tools and my tool kits and my weapons. I had to learn more things about like map awareness, because those weren't things that I was paying attention to whenever I was playing Modern Warfare till I came here, because I was playing with more intention. I learned all of that here in Destiny. That is my foundation of my gameplay. And so hand cannons and things like that is the niche feeling of first-person gunplay gameplay that I just fucking love. There's something about a primary weapon being a hand cannon, hitting at certain ranges, and trying to nuance a situation where you can stay behind cover and peek shoot and still win, certainly in a situation where you have the disadvantage. And when you get the win, it is the biggest dopamine slap to the face in the world.
Nah.
No, that's a sniper. That's a sniper headshot.
But that's
Agreed.
That's
Agreed.
just for me.
Agreed, Gatr. Sniper shots, it feels so good. Feels so good.
Agreed too. It's that precision shot, right? It's that earned, I won the gunfight through a skill shot. And for me, that reward game loop comes from hand cannons, and as well as snipers. But because I used hand cannons way more significantly than a sniper, that's where I'm gonna primarily associate that rewarding game loop too. But yeah, so Destiny 2 PvP, it's definitely going to be that game loop in terms of that precision gun feel and learning how to approach those nuanced situations and use map awareness, things to that, and learning gameplay with teammates, because I come from a background of solo. So I've actually learned team composition from Destiny 2 as well.
Hey, I agree. I came from Call of Duty. I didn't play Halo like some of you did. So I didn't know about the shielded Guardians you were shooting. I first played my first match in Crucible. I shot someone and said, wait a minute, they're not dead? I put 3 bullets in them. Why aren't they dead? And Sweaty, I gotta give it to you, man, because that's the way I feel. At the time in the 90s and early 2000s, Call of Duty was it. If you wanted a first-person shooter game that had really realistic feel, if you weren't playing Call of Duty, you didn't know what the hell you were doing. But then in 2014 came along this little game called Destiny. All of a sudden, Call of Duty was not number one anymore as far as gun feel. It was Destiny. And not only that, Destiny they didn't have like 5 auto rifles, 1 pulse rifle, 2 scout rifles, they call them sidearms in Call of Duty, not hand cannons. And maybe a couple shotguns. When I played Destiny, they had 25 pulse rifles. They had probably the same amount of scout rifles. They had such a variety of weapons, and not only that, they didn't all fire the same because they had perks in each weapon slot that made it do different things. it was so much way beyond Call of Duty. Call of Duty was just aim, spray, and pray. I mean, as all the times that I played Call of Duty, I can't really think I learned a whole lot on how to get better because 2 bullets got you. Someone could sit in a corner, and as you're running by, they shoot you in the back. That just got me so. Finally, you would start doing it because you were tired of being the idiot running around. So all of a sudden, it's just a big camp fest. Everyone just camps and waits for someone to run by them.
Claymores.
Oh, God, yeah. But my point is when I started playing Destiny, the first year, Sweaty, you talked about how you were terrified. The whole first year of Destiny, I was so tired of multiplayer. I said, I love these worlds. I would sit on the Cosmodrome on the edge, look at the skylines, and just listen to the insects in my ear. I had my full headphones on, and I was there. It was the most realistic game I've ever played. I actually felt like I was there. And there was no way in hell I was going to play PvP until I finally had this little exotic weapon that I wanted called. You had to get void kills to unlock the weapon. The damage over time hand cannon. See, I told you I don't remember
Malfeasance?
No. Thorn.
Yeah.
I wanted the Thorn because it did damage over time, and you would shoot someone 2 times and walk away. Boom, 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 they're dead. And I wanted that. And I wanted to play it in PvE. So I finally dipped my toes into Crucible, skipped so many Iron Banners, and my God, I cannot believe I was kicking myself. I didn't even realize there was another whole part of this game that was better than Call of Duty. So for me, the gun feel is outstanding. I still think it's the best gun feel game in right now online. And the fact that their people are shielded, that means if someone has better skill and you shoot them in the back from sitting in a corner, they can whip around and still take you out because it's not a 3-bullet kill. The time to kill is a lot longer, which means you learn how to be defensive, you learn how to evade, you learn about the skill selling, which is movement in this game, and you were able to turn around and actually kill the person who was sitting in a corner, camping on you. So it taught me so much about cover shooting, about map flowing with your team, adapting to what your players were using around you. There was just so much to learn, and I just became a sponge. I started watching True Vanguard play Trials and how he worked with his other 2 teammates. And Gator, man, I remember that guy. I subbed that guy forever.
I remember him.
And I learned all of these different methods of ways they were playing. It was the best school to play Crucible ever, is to just sit there and watch streams and watch how the really top tier players handled a situation. So that is what Crucible is to me.
That's good. But what about the current state? Because this is supposed to be about what the issues are. You guys are talking about all the beautiful things.
Yeah.
Well, he wanted to start off with that.
I get that.
I'm just listening to the host tell me what to do.
Well, hey, real quick. So PvP for me is different than what you guys are talking about. Okay. Because PvP for me is, self-professed, PvP casual here. Okay. Is that it's a place for me to go in and have fun. If I get kills, great. If I get killed, that sucks. It's just, it doesn't ruin my day. If I'm playing, a bunch of cheaters, then, it is what it is kind of thing. It's like, I wouldn't know basically because I'm not at that level where, if somebody is cheating and, they're in my skill level, well, more power to them. But for me, it's just all about having fun. So I'll go in with some jank ass loadout or something like that and be like, hey, I'm gonna, try this build that I saw on Native Raiders channel and see how it does for me. And that's what PvP is to me. It's just a place to go in, have fun, shoot demands, try not to die, get better, and just, if I wanted to put effort into it, I could. But for the most part, it's just, for me, it's about having fun. It's not serious.
Let me ask, sorry. I'm building off of his point. that it's about team play and having fun with friends and stuff, and I'm all for that too. Don't get me wrong, but Native, Sweaty, and I can't speak. Well, Night Demon, we're all kind of hardcore PvP players. I say hardcore very much in quotes. That we enjoy ourselves and we try to get better in the game. And if we get shot, we're not happy about it. Why did I get shot? What was I doing stupid that got me shot? Isn't there a certain point when you play this game where you're like, whoa, I'm actually coming out ahead in most of the scoreboards every game. There comes a point where you start seeing improvement in your game, and then all of a sudden it's such an addiction. You're thinking, man, I was at a 1.1 last year, and now I'm at a 1.5. I'm actually getting better at this game with my hand coordination, with my gun skill, with map knowledge, map awareness, all these things that you can improve in the game. And I don't know, I'm just seeing if you agree with me here. There's a certain point where you play this game enough that you start just getting more serious about getting better at playing it. It's like any hobby you have. If you start getting really good at drag racing and your reaction time, you're getting 000s at the line, you start thinking, man, maybe I got something here. Maybe there's something I have a skill in doing. Mm-hmm. And granted, I get my ass kicked a lot, but those games that just seem to be flowing, I just take things a little more personally when I'm playing. Not at the other teammate, at myself mainly. But I may not always express it that way. But is that the way you guys feel, Night Demon? I know, Peroty, you play PvP too, but I know Night Demon's the big Iron Banner guy. I was throwing it out there.
I think we actually lost Night Demon, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah. No, Demon's laptop just shut down on him, so he said he was powering it back on. And
that's.
He'll be coming back in. But no, absolutely. Absolutely. I mean, I stuck a picture in the green room because this past Iron Banner. Buddy of mine, Panoramics 18, we've been friends in real life forever now, and he was the one who was like, "Hey, there's this game Destiny 2 at GameFly. You should go pick it up. We'll try it. Or I'm sorry, Destiny 1. Like a week or two after it came out. Hey, we should try this out. We should go play. Pick this up and play it. We go into Iron Banner dressed alike. We go into PvP wearing the exact same Iron Banner loadout, same shaders." Because really, I just have a deep, deep hope that one day someone will go, I killed that guy. Why am I getting shot by the same guy I just killed? He's over there now. So we'll run, we'll run around, double sweep business and Actium War rigs or just something. I mean, something silly, something meme loadouts. But you definitely hit the nail on the head. It's part of it. It's the friend game. It's the fun game. I'm gonna go in and honestly, I love what they've done with Iron Banner becoming just. People are like, oh, I don't want to do PvP. I don't want to go in. I'm like, listen, go in. Play your matches, get your loot. All you have to do is just play the matches. Play 18 games in the week, and you can get your pinnacle drops, you can get your exotics, you can get, some, high-level armor rolls potentially. It's literally just you show up, you participate, and you get stuff for it. And I think that's how I want there to be like an intro to PvP for people. Just show up and play the game. That's it. And
it's almost that way in Trials too.
Yeah, and we're gonna hand you loot. Yeah, I mean that's why I started playing Trials when they did the revamp of, hey, I've got a bar. I can make the bar go left to right and fill it up and get rewards out of it. Yeah, nothing I have is adept, but I've got my messenger rolls. I've got my immortal rolls. Mm-hmm. I can go back to St. 14 and say, give me new things. Mm-hmm. I can play the game. I can get the things, and it gives me a reason to go in. Yeah, I am maybe a 1-0 PvP player. But like the first Iron Banner after they buffed the sweet business, I rolled in with that thing in Actium War Rig and was laying waste to people because no one expects it. It works out for a minute until they catch on, but you can have so much fun going, I'm running this ridiculous meme loadout and having success with it. And there's no better feeling. Yeah, exactly. Exactly. It's like when they catch on, or you're playing hand cannon users or people at range, or any of the 10,000 reasons why that's not going to work. Yeah. But you have those moments of just, I feel good, I'm doing well. I always joke, I'm like, oh, they put me down in the beginner group in the matchmaking. Let me start here. And then you win a couple games, you're like, oh, no, wait, now I'm back up here with the people I should be playing with and, getting my ass handed to me left and right. So
yeah, they boost your ego to knock you right back down. Hey, hold on.
Things are going great. Oh, things aren't so great right now.
Yeah, I feel that. I feel that for sure. So what else? Let's move on to this next question here. Balance. Now, this one I wanted to put in here because I feel like this is a This is a type of game that cannot be balanced. You know, it's a looter shooter. It's constantly evolving. It's changing. Perks are added. Power creep. Right. Do you think it's balanced at the moment within the Crucible? Do you think there's an issue that the balance is causing more people to not play it, or it to quote unquote die, which it's definitely not. You know, but just balance in general. What do you guys think?
Personal opinion, I think it's most balanced it's ever felt.
Yeah.
Agreed.
Yeah.
The sandbox.
There's no outliers right now. There's nothing that I'll admit I haven't spent much time in trials this season as I usually have. So that I'll admit. But thus far, and I've been participating quite a bit. I mean, I'm season level 92, no bounty hoarding, Gatr.
I didn't bounty hoard this season. I'm 100.
I know. I just like busting your balls about it. That's all.
I know you do. I know. Love you too.
But, you know, I guess what I'm trying to say is like, I don't even remember what I was trying to say anymore. I forget now. I just wanted to be
balanced. You're saying it's most balanced.
Yes,
it is.
Exactly.
Something that's
no outliers. Right.
Yeah.
There's no like arbalists going crazy right now.
Right.
There's no what was the other one? The Lorentz driver. Man, that drove me nuts. I'm not sure if you guys experienced DMT when it first released on PC specifically.
Oh yeah.
Oh my goodness.
I actually chased one of our people out of scrims because he kept killing me with it, and I tried to shame him, and I think he just said, "Dude, you're taking this game way too seriously."
Yeah, you were a salty.
Everyone knows who I'm talking about, and I felt really bad, but that thing was just a dart.
You should have felt bad.
Yeah, but there again, I'm asking myself, why did I die?
Example of coming back to present. Yeah, no, it's pretty good right now.
Yeah.
Besides Graviton Lance, that is stupid.
That thing,
dude, I tried it.
Yeah,
it still takes some skill to use, man.
Bro, but it's so easy to kill with like as far as like you get that two head tap, like it's easy, and on top of it, you're getting another kill likely.
Yes, I'm getting killed by it. Yeah, but here's the thing, Native. That first shot before they buffed it was a joke. You would hit a headshot on that first shot, and then if the follow up shot was above it, it meant nothing. That gun was garbage, man. And I just think people are just realizing from the collateral damage it's getting now.
So what?
But I'll be honest.
Up to what Brazil? Do we know?
I haven't even used it a whole lot, to be honest.
I'll have to.
I messed with it a bit, and it was dumb.
I'm
kind of curious on.
I'm one of those bad people. I took it into I took that in a 7th Seraph carbine with reconstruction into this last Iron Banner because. Again, I almost treated the Graviton Lance like the sweet business. I'm going to find a place. If you guys are going to stand up and hug each other and bunch up and just stand in a corner, and I can just keep putting shots into you, that's not my fault.
Hey, but here's the thing. You can do the same thing with a Cloud Strike.
Well, you can. True. I can't, but maybe you can.
You can do it.
It requires a lot more skill compared to the Graviton.
To boot,
out of curiosity,
you compare it with Immortal.
Oh, God.
You can. There you go.
Oh, sorry, Claire, go ahead there.
I was curious, Hazel, have you tried this in PvE? Because I was thinking about it the other day, like with that blowing up type for precision kills.
I really haven't, just because I don't use. I don't know. I just don't use that. For me, I'm like, I mean, for the most part, whenever I'm in PvE. I'm mostly using pretty much like double like SMGs.
Oh, interesting. Okay.
So
that is interesting.
Yeah. I mean, they just burn through everything. So
I know right now pulses don't got nothing in the artifact, I don't think.
Not a whole lot.
As far as
champion
mods. Nothing.
Yeah. I mean, if I'm doing something with champions, I'll throw something on for that. But I mean, otherwise, it's just, why would I make my life harder, by using something that's, not optimal.
It's pretty stupid in PvE as well. I was using it to make that video on the Monument of Lost Light weapons. I was testing them in a lost sector. I was literally just one tapping. But that was one tapping.
That was before the buff, though.
It was before the buff. Can you imagine it now? Now that you get more power. But the second bullet loses a little power, but if you hit that first shot, I'm telling you, it's chaos with that gun.
All right, there you go, Gatr. That's your next video. The changes from the Weapons of Monument of Light.
Yeah.
There you go.
All right, you guys want to move on to the next one here, and we're going to talk about the expectations. Like, should people think that it's going to get better in PvP? Like, is that a realistic expectation? This being a, PvE somewhat focused. I'm going to say somewhat focused because I don't think it's entirely focused as much as a lot of people say that this is a PvE game. That's all it's all about. Like, it's definitely not. That's not the case. Obviously, certain ritual playlists have been slept on. Gambit, right? Do you think that the PvE or the PvP community think that? I mean, should this be a realistic expectation to get better?
Oh, so you PvP players got it good. Compared to those of us who enjoy Gambit. Come on now. You guys are living high on the hawk.
I don't know.
Speaking
It feels pretty good right now.
Yeah.
Ask Hazel.
I played last night with Exonus, and he's holding us to the ad that we did where we will play Gambit 2.
Absolutely.
So we got to set that up with Exonix.
I'll get in there with him next time too.
The secret is Gambit's never felt bad. But no, I think honestly, to say is PvP going to get better, you first need to define what's better.
Better than
new
present?
maps?
I hope so.
Right. Yeah, it's better. I want to see a new map every XYZ seasons. Is it, hey, you made these promises, fulfill them. What is better? Because I think you could ask all of us. You go into any streamer's chat and say what's better, and you'll get everything from Bungie doesn't care, it's all marathon now, to I don't play and I don't care anyway. So I think it's like what's better, and then I mean again I'm going to it. I'm enjoying it. Again, I don't make my living off PvP. I go in and play. I live at Iron Banner. And then I've been having fun with Rift. Honestly, I'm happy to see the things come back. I enjoyed Supremacy coming back. I enjoy Rift as a thing. I know Rift is, you either love it or hate it, but really, just find a friend. Chase someone around in Rift, work as a team, and you're good to go. Like, it's, I'm enjoying seeing some of the game types come back that have been missing. That I remember from D1 going, hey, we had good times in this, and then it's just been gone forever. So, I mean, in my eyes, it's better in that. I like this. I like the experimentation because I remember when they said, "Hey, we're releasing Crucible Labs," and then just sort of didn't for like a year. We're just like, "Hey, we could test things out." I'm like, "Remember the Crucible Labs you guys announced and then just never did?"
Yeah, those things are
about that. The fact that we have Iron Banner and it's getting game modes, love it or hate Fortress, love it or hate Eruption. Those are new things. Maybe we got a new map. Maybe you hate the new map, but hey, you got one. There is work being done there. Yeah, maybe it's not the work you want to see. Maybe it's not what you enjoy, but you're getting content. And not to say that getting content at all, looking at Gambit, is the baseline, but still, there is progress being made. So yeah, is it as fast as everybody wants it to be? Absolutely not. It's never going to be. But it's. I think it's moving in the right direction. It is getting better wherever your line of better is.
But see, that's the thing though, okay? So in the True Vanguard video, he's like saying that he's like, that they want that PvP people want more maps and more modes and things like this, and more weapons, more loot. And in the course of the video, he says that Bungie has given more modes and more maps and things like this. And then he's like, but they're not good. They're not what we asked for. And I'm like, what do you want? You just want to be unhappy. It's like, I mean, it's like he says that he wants these things. Bungie gives them these things and it's still not enough.
From an outside perspective of looking at PvP and looking at what they've done with, like Peroty was saying with Crucible Labs, the thing with Crucible Labs is that they tried Trials Labs, which was good, and then last season they said, right, we're doing Crucible Labs and we're going to put it on a rotator. And doing like This Week in Destiny videos, I kept a list of, the rotators so that I could tell people when they were coming back up. And they didn't say going into season 21 we were going to stop that rotator, but they completely did, because we had Showdown, wasn't it? There was 3 different versions of Showdown. They did Showdown Classic, they did Showdown something else, and Showdown something else. And they did that for about 6 weeks in season 20. And then for the whole of season 21, we've just gone back to elimination in Crucible Labs. And it's like, Well, I thought we were trialing something, at least try it every couple of weeks. But for like 6 weeks, we've just had elimination in Crucible Labs, which is just like we took it out of trials, but we've put it over there. So that's what's confusing. I appreciate that they've brought back Supremacy because it obviously was a game mode that people enjoyed in the Guardian games, and now it's back in the Rotator, which was quite nice. But saying that, we've had Crimson Days just completely taken out of the game. A doubles game mode, which was good for like the February event that we had way back when, but they could introduce that into a playlist or into a Rotator somewhere along the lines of saying it's 2v2. That's it, and then maybe when Valentine's comes around, they have that special kind of, where I think it was the Bond thing, isn't it? You get closer together and you kind of heal quicker. And if your partner dies, you then do extra damage kind of thing. That was a unique mechanic for Crucible, but they just completely took it out of the game. So it is frustrating when you see that they do these things and then people say, we do like this, or it's not like that we didn't say that we didn't like Crimson Days and that was just taken out of the game. And it wasn't like they didn't give us any feedback on saying that the Crucible Labs wasn't working, so we're just going to put elimination back over there for the next month. It's like there's no communication with that. I'd like to see a bit more communication of the reasons why they took things out or the reasons why they're putting things in, and more dialogue over the rotations of like, I'd like to know. I mean, I'm sure people would also like to know what's actually coming up. I mean, why is it a big secret that we have to wait till every Friday to find out what is happening next week in Destiny with the rotators and things? I could understand that people got upset with, the different calendars giving everything away. But if people knew that, say, a special trials event was happening in like 3 weeks' time and it was on their calendar, people could then make a big thing about it. If Crimson Days came back in like 2 months' time and they said, it's going to work on these specific weeks, a bit like they do with Iron Banner. Iron Banner's on this week, and this week. They let us know that kind of thing. But then other things are kind of still ambiguous. Anyway.
I mean, go ahead, Native.
No, I was going to say that was well put. Like that was, I think that rolls in perfectly with the next kind of like topic about like our thoughts on the different playlists within the Crucible with comp trials, Iron Banner, the quick play, the what do they call it, the different rotational playlists and stuff like that. And I'm honestly curious to what you guys think about. I mean, we could start with comp, or you guys just chime in, whatever, like let's talk about the playlists themselves and what you think is good, what's bad, or what could be better, what ideas to make it better,
Well, first and foremost, please take Rift out of comp.
Yes, please.
I love Showdown, by the way. That was a great game mode for comp.
Agreed.
Quick matches, you either won them or you didn't, and you had a shot to come back, and then you had the timers where people just couldn't sit forever. You'd have to go get a cap point, and it's really quick. I love those fast fire matches. They're trying to I know they had good intentions with the team-based matchmaking, but the difference I've seen playing my Iron Banner in my 6 stacks is that it's gotten much sweatier playing team-based matchmaking. A lot of my friends are not having fun right now playing Iron Banner. We get, I would say at half the matches, we just get run over. I mean, we just get run over. I mean, it's no fun when you're getting mercied within 5 minutes of the match, or it's 4 minutes of the match even. And I got to wonder, this team-based matchmaking, I can't even keep track of what they're even setting up. Is it skill-based? Is it connection-based? I've lost count on how many times they've changed it.
It doesn't matter. It's all it's 6 people. I mean, it's a 6 stack versus a 6 stack. That's what it's for.
It just seems like we're almost encouraged to play in a 3 stack because the 6 stacks have just been, no offense, Sweatyspookz, sweaty.
No offense taken, because guess what? I've been playing the smaller stacks as well. If I'm playing trials, I'm not playing with 2 other people. I'm only playing with 1 usually.
Really?
If I'm hoping to go flawless, I'm hoping that person that I'm playing with is better than me.
Yeah.
If
So you're playing
I
solo? Is that what you're saying?
I've been playing solo this whole time.
Okay. I didn't know
Now,
that.
when I got the what one is it? What was the card that I did with Moira? Confidence card. Thank you. Whenever we got that done, mechanically speaking, I would not understand this until Fluffy approached me after the fact. But we mechanically had everything going against us that weekend. Matchmaking was broken and not working as it was expected. And we somehow still got it done. So ever since then, I also noticed that if you have one person that you can play well with, usually, certainly in a comp setting, like if you're comfortable enough to play with them in comp, team up with them. Just the 2 of you. You'll probably have a better experience. Because here's why. If you go in solo, which is what most of my experience is, you're really depending on RNG in terms of your teammates that are backing you up. I don't mind having the aggressive, super sweaty person because they go in, they distract, I clean up or get the kill, whatever it is. It's a good cycle, it works. Or sometimes I have to be the sweaty person that goes jumping in there while everybody else is in the back. It really just, you have to be able to read the room, read the audience.
Adapt to your team.
And stay with them. And also, in relation to your team's position, pay attention to your radar and where the enemy is. Now, obviously, those skills, you're not always going to go flawless just from those skills alone. However, if you're solo, sometimes, if you just...
It all clicks.
If you just try again, sometimes it clicks. Not always. Telesto weekend, I would do 222 matches and would not go flawless.
Wow.
The following weekend, my flawless match was 223. Literally.
Wow.
But of course,
a lot of games.
Yeah, I was playing with intention. I was trying to close the gap on my flawless title, which I only need to help people get to the lighthouse 2 more times, and then I'll have it. But again, playing with intention, really grinding. I did not get the Adept Messenger. That's the one Adept weapon from Trials that I actually want. So whenever that comes around, I'll be trying again. But outside of that, like, I don't know. I guess what I'm trying to say is Trials is a whole different vibe of what it used to be to what it is now with the matchmaking. I understand what Bungie had in mind. Last season, here's what the trade-off were. Trades-off were this. You could jump in solo and you could go flawless and you can get the weapon and you could get all the rewards. You could get all of the mementos, but you couldn't play with your friends. This season, you can play with your friends all you want, but you're probably not going flawless. And if you do go flawless, be very thankful to RNG and luck and your friends. Very much so, your friends, if you're playing with your friends. If you're going solo, congratulations, a tip of the hat to you, because if you're coming from the experience that it was an easy trip, then I'm going to say that you're probably a very skilled player. Tip of the hat to you, pat on the back. But for us casual folks, non-conventional players, I've been finding this season it is significantly, noticeably way harder to hit that flawless than it was last season, even with that second forgiveness. I'm not quite sure what it is about it. And this is just my experience. I'm not speaking on anybody else's behalf. I'm not trying to speak for anybody else either. I haven't been playing it as much because it just doesn't feel realistic anymore. It doesn't feel like I can accomplish that goal by myself anymore. And it's not that I don't want to like not play with friends or anything, but like a lot of people are just dipping off right now. There's other things happening. It's summertime as well. So IRL, there's lots of real things happening. People are going fishing, camping, family time, all that fun stuff. We just picked up a new kitty, like things like that. So there's a lot in general, bigger picture going on. So I understand that the numbers are going to be a little bit lower right now. There's not a whole lot to offer. And you know what? I'm going to be the bold that says it. Maybe there should be a season of no FOMO, so there's no reason to bitch about it. Everybody's complaining because there's nothing to do. Well, you've been complaining because everybody's got a fear of missing out. Let it rest for a season. This probably is the perfect season for all of this to happen, in my personal opinion. Again, not speaking for or on behalf of anybody else, but the reason I say that is because I think that Bungie is taying a pension. I think they are taking notes. I think that there is going to be changes coming. Trials, okay, I'll equate it to this analogy. Whenever they killed Cade, I had a mustard seed side faith from that moment forward to present date that he was going to come back. And that was confirmed against all odds, and all the people that told me it's impossible, he'll come back as Cade 7. No, Cade 6 is coming back. We know that. So if Bungie's capable of doing that, of flourishing that small little mustard seed that I call it, I guess, they're gonna pay attention to their game. They love this game. I know that they do. They're invested in it just as much as we are. We're just upset that we can't be whatever it is that everybody's wanting it to be right now, and that's okay. But again, I'm gonna say it. It's okay to have a season of no FOMO.
Well, what's quite interesting is that both you and Gatr have hit on the fact that they've changed the game modes, so they are working on PvP.
Mm-hmm.
Regardless of, whether it's a new map or something, they are still trying out different ways of making people connect, how people play together. You're saying it's bad this season for X amount of reasons, and Gatr saying it's X amount of reasons bad for. We know, and we've played it for so long, that they flip-flop or they change the way that, connection and skill base, and they're trying to find a good medium, and they have to keep changing it every couple of seasons. They have to get the data in. So from what you two have both said, it looks, from an outside perspective, that they are doing something. They're just not telling us every 5 seconds what they're doing. They are doing stuff. Very minor stuff at the moment, but they are still doing stuff. It's
bottlenecking to something. We just don't know what's in the middle yet.
I mean, and like Bungie has said, whenever they have the opportunity, it's, like they said, hey, this season is done, the next season is done. We're starting to do intro work on the final shape. This is a big, massive game that's not going to move quickly. This is the Titanic. Not to say it's going to end the same way. But this is a massive game where you can't complain on Twitter on Monday and then expect on Friday to see changes in the game. That's just not how this is going to work. That's not reality. And, it's like you would touch on when True Vanguard's points going, well, you gave us this, but we don't like what you gave us. Well, that's different than you got something. Okay, you weren't happy with it, but you can't say nothing is happening. It's happening. Maybe it's not happening to your liking, but it's happening. And I haven't set foot into. Honestly, Trials is something I sort of play when I have the time to play. I don't even really care what the reward is, what the map is. I'm just playing literally to earn engrams to turn into Saint 14. That's the sole reason to go into Trials. I know I won't go flawless unless I happen to luck into cards. I think I've gotten to 5 wins again, just sort of solo queuing, luck of the draw. But I enjoy going in earlier in the seasons when the population is high. Because I know there's more people like me going into the seasons when the population is high. So I went to look at the Trials report, just sort of to your point, obviously Bungie's making changes, the vibe is changing, but we're also, as the season goes on, the numbers go down. That's just what happens. Unless Bungie does something to bring people to Trials, or we have a laser tag weekend or a Telesto weekend or some sort of intentional or not fun Trials event. At the tail end of last season, in February, there were 169,000 people playing Trials. 35,000 of them went flawless. The first week of the new season, 542,000 people were in, and 190,000 went flawless. So, the first week of the season, more people went flawless than were playing Trials the previous week. And those, and those numbers just, continue, this past weekend, or I guess, like the weekend that ended June 16th, when Wormhaven was up, 225,000 people playing, 71,000 flawless. So again, you're seeing we started at 500,000 people. We're already at half that on the population for the season of even people stepping foot into trials. And people like me, again, not that I really pay a lot of attention to what Wicked is or what the map is, but I'm more inclined to go in earlier in the season because I know more people are going, let me give this a shot. Let me go in and just try this out. They've made some changes. Let me see what happens. And comp, I have nothing to say about because honestly, ever since Bungie was like, play your 7 games and do the ranking, I just haven't. Just because of all the things that I'm doing in a week, that's usually the thing I would sort of get to last and go, well, let me jump into comp. I would always play like 2 or 3 matches just to dip a toe in, or honestly, if there's a weekly challenge tied to it or a bounty tied to it, I can go, let me jump in and do those things. But it's not the top of my priority list. So sometimes it happens, sometimes it doesn't. But it's really just sort of the whims of the community and the whims of how many people are in. Can I go into trials and if I'm going to get stomped from game 1, I'm jumping right back out. If it's a good week where there's a lot of people, I might get 2, 3, maybe even 4 games in when I'm playing what I feel is competitive to my level before I'm just absolutely getting stomped. Where you blink, and again, and I'm playing on Xbox, I'm on console, so I don't really see the cheaters. 1, because I'm not good enough for people to cheat against me, and 2, I'm again just personal experience. I'm assuming it's a bigger problem on PC than it is on console. But again, to I think to Hazel's point earlier, I just assume people who are absolutely outplaying me, not because they're cheating, they're just incredible. They're getting that cloud strike team wipe from across the map, and I go, I don't even know how you did that from there, but good job. Like, it seems feasible to me.
Can I mention something? The original question that Native prompted here was, do we think it's going to get any better from here until the end of the final shape, right?
No, I thought it was about playlists, but...
Yeah.
I've lost track.
That was one of them.
Well, I think the bearer of bad news here is, other than maybe a little twist or twinkle here and there, PvP is where it's at. It's not going to get any better. There's a skeleton crew running PvP right now. I mean, can you imagine how happy the PvP team was when they had a whole new IP to play with? They were probably so burned out on PvP, and when they start playing this, designing this game Marathon, they're probably a little light in their eyes. They're like, oh, wow, okay, we can start doing what we've been wanting to do. But as far as the rest of the next expansion into the next year, I don't see it getting any better. So I mean, and to defend TV here, because we're all saying that we're ungrateful because we don't like what they gave us. That's not the point that TV was making. The point is if you look at the number of maps and stuff they've released, undoing the tap, so to speak, if you look at the last year, there's been nothing released. They take all these maps away from us, and we were so used to getting 4 maps a season or 4 maps an expansion. If you look at the last year, there's been nothing. 1 new map, Disjunction, and everyone hates it, but that's fine. That's a separate point. But the fact of the matter is, other than Melting Point, what have they given us back?
Well, TV really emphasized on the word upkeep in that video too, right? Like he kept reiterating that, this is what the general consensus or narrative is, but really what at the end of the day, bottom line is that everybody's looking for is just the upkeep that the rest of the game gets. It's not so much we need to have all brand new spanking new activities, dungeon level of content. It's not really even that. It's just some upkeep to keep up with the rest of the game is all.
Yeah. But you are getting upkeep. There are 2 balance passes every season.
No, that's maintenance
to the weapons.
That's keeping things fresh.
That's upkeep.
But there's been no revised maps coming out. We've had Melting Point. I think that's the first new map.
You're just counteracting what Sweaty just said, though.
Well, I mean, all we're asking for...
this is the problem with PvP people right here, okay? Y'all are all over the damn place, okay?
No, we're not.
Because half of you want new maps, and that's the only damn thing some of the people care about.
We don't want new maps. We just want our maps back.
Gatr, what?
But want our maps back that they took away.
But they want a combination of things, Hazel. They want their old maps back that played really badly, that Bungie said they were going to fix and then bring back. But they want
Dead Cliffs that's in the game already?
They want them back now. Don't you argue with them. And then they want new maps as well. But they all forget what it was like in Destiny 1 when we had 6 months of nothing. No balance patches, no maps, no nothing. And it was the same meta for 6 months. And we all still played it. And we all still came back for Destiny 2. And we're all still here now.
Hey, Nitedemon.
Yes.
Those are the glory days.
Yeah, they are.
Those are the days that everybody was like looking back at now. Like, you know what, guys? We're bitching about stuff right now because it's not like it was in D1. But those are the glory days.
No, my point is what did Smith say? He said they had to set the foundation, right? They had to set the foundation. They had to make sure the foundation of the house was good before we start doing anything to it. Well, okay. Now and then they said they were going to undo the tap and start releasing the maps back like they said they would. I don't care if they're new maps, but they lied to us. They told us they were going to bring back maps over time, and we feel like we're the forgotten part of the community because we've gotten 2 maps in a whole year and a half to 2 years.
Yes, but you still got to remember COVID.
No, Gatr forgot COVID.
COVID's had such an impact on everything.
Work from home. No.
They kept that model.
Work.
They kept that model. They still work from home.
Yeah. I know.
Okay.
I was looking at their website.
Can I throw out a question?
Oh God.
It's loaded as I'm just going to throw it out.
Of course it
there,
is.
too.
This is what I'm used to, everyone. This is what I'm used to hearing.
So, okay, now I'm going to ask, this is a question for everybody here individually. All right. I don't want anybody else to chime in about anything else. Okay.
Okay.
All right. What do you want singularly to be done with PvP? What would make you personally happy?
I just spoke. I'll let everybody else speak.
Wait, no, Gatr, you said you want the old maps back. That's it.
They said they were going to undo the tap.
Gatr, that's not an answer.
Singular.
Undo the tap is not an answer.
Bring the flow of maps that they promised us. I'm not saying new maps. I'm just saying we've had 2 maps in 2 years. That's
So
not
how
what
many
they
maps
said they
would
were
you
going to
want?
do.
How many maps
How about a revised map? A bring back an old classic map, and let's face it, nothing has really been changed on these maps. It's the same map. Bring back one of the old maps every season. Bring back a new map one time a year. Every season.
One new map and a revised map every season. So that's all you want, Gatr. And then you'd be happy.
I would be happy because the sandbox is good. We just are playing the same maps over and over again. And we're talking about burnout. We're burnt out playing these same maps over and over again.
Okay. So next. Okay. We'll hit native because native's been quiet.
Nothing is perfect, bro. Let's keep it the way it is.
Okay, and this is the episode where native gets canned. No.
I mean, the map thing, I get that, but I don't think that's really what I would want. I think what I would want is dedicated servers. An okay answer. Stability, matchmaking, rework. Competitive. I was so excited about, but it's not real, true rank based, ladder based system. So I think that's probably the main thing because I was so excited about it. I was like, yo, let's go. This is something that I can enjoy, week in and week out. Like, it's not just a weekend thing like Trials, which Trials is cool. Don't get me wrong, but this was actually going to be something like that. I think there needs to be an added aspect to not the competitive mode, but the competitive aspect of PvP, and with the proper rewards to suck players into it. Let's do. How about, do you guys remember? Was it Black Ops 1? Maybe you had clan ranking systems, right? Mm-hmm. To where you can sit there and clan v clan PvP,
clan wars.
Yeah. Why not? That can't be too hard to incorporate into the game, depending on the resources. But how cool would that be?
How about just a gun game? Your gun versus my gun. No frickin' Nova Bomb.
Nah,
let's go.
I think that would be
there
cool.
You go, Gatr.
I think that would be cool as maybe a rotator, Scorched or something like that. Sure. Nobody likes. But so my idea to make it better is give it that more of a competitive edge. I was when they took out the light levels for Iron Banner, because to me it made it feel less important, to be honest.
Yeah.
Like, we might as well just be playing another playlist. You got a loot pool of Iron Banner weapons, but it's that
like a theme now. That's all it is.
That exclusivity of to get is like kind of just like whatever, you know?
Yeah.
Well, the good news, Native, is they're bringing all that, man, in Marathon. They're bringing it.
Okay.
We'll see. We'll see.
Sweaty, what about you?
So, if I understand correctly, what is a singular thing that Bungie could do to improve PvP?
For you.
For me.
What do you want to see? Like, I guess, like on the grand scheme of things, are you
answer this very easily? Whatever gives the game a higher population.
A good answer.
Cop out.
That's a cop out answer because
I'm serious.
Okay, so another immortal. There you go.
No.
Okay.
No.
Done. That spiked population.
See, I'm going to jump on that answer because I was going to say the same thing, except for an entry. It onboard people into PvP. Get people into PvP. If you're coming to PvP for the first time, and again, I never really play any Call of Duty because I'm not that kind of Twitch shooter. That's not my game. But like when you step into PvP Halo, they're like, listen, you're going to play here sort of in the kiddie pool of PvP. You're not going against the Trials God. You're not going to get stumped. You're playing in a playlist with other people who also don't play PvP. You're going to have at least a decent time coming into this and learning how it works, getting the feel for it. Because, I mean, Destiny 2 PvP is its own thing. We've rattled off how many other shooters that we've all played throughout time. Destiny PvP is a different animal.
Plus, it's peer-to-peer, so I wonder if that fact alone is what sets it apart, meaning one of the leading causes to what we're experiencing. But I'm not sure.
I think it's all those things. But I think getting people into the game mode, because I know so many people who are just like, I will never set foot into PvP, or I did, and everybody has a horror story. I went, and they're not going into trials, they're not going into comp. They're just like, I jumped into control. I jumped, you finally drug your buddy kicking screaming into PvP, going, let's just play 3 matches for the pinnacle. Let's just get the exotic drops now. That's all we're gonna do. And they do not have a good time. They're getting stomped. They're getting kicked to the curb. They do not have a good experience, so they never come back. So you can't expect to grow any of these, and that's the ladder. You play the game, you get better at the game, you enjoy the game, you go to comp, you go to trials, you say, let me jump into Iron Banner willingly. Getting people into the playlist and keeping them there, yeah, it's not for everybody. You're never going to have everyone playing PvP. But giving people a good experience when they get in there and giving them a reason to stay.
See, comp was supposed to be like comp was in Halo. Your goal was what? To get to 55, right? So you would come in and get assessed after a trial set of games, and then you were at 13, and that's where you were in life.
Hey, let's go back to Night Demon though. Okay.
Sorry.
So, Night Demon.
Yes.
What would you like to see improved?
I think maps are the key. I really do think the maps are the key, because when we had so many downtimes or lulls in Destiny 1, there were so many more maps, or even it felt like there were so many more maps because they didn't vault any of the maps. And just looking on the Destinypedia, I think I'm counting 31 maps in total.
31.
And currently
how many we have now, Night Demon?
25. But those aren't 25 that are the same 25 that were in Destiny 1. So I think I said on our show many times, I would like to see the ones from Destiny 1 come across, and the ones that they also vaulted, which there are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 that they have vaulted. So we've got Citadel, Solitude, Retribution, Legion's Gulch, Gambler's Ruin, Firebase Echo, Equinox, and Emperor's Respite, from Destiny 2. But like in Destiny 1, we had the dungeons, we had the Drifter, which was the one on the ship that had the zero gravity on it. Icarus, I don't even remember Icarus. Floating Gardens, The Last Exit. I remember that one because that was the really short map with Yeah.
It's a good map.
Thieves' Den, The Timekeeper, Asylum, Shores of Time we've got back, Skyline, Crossroads,
A Bastion.
Black Shield, we've got Pantheon,
Black
Blind
Shield.
Watch, Firebase Delphi.
There you go.
Yeah, we have got Cauldron, Anomaly, First Light. That was the big one, wasn't it? Sector 618, which was the PlayStation exclusive one that we only had for a short time. So there are so many ones that they could dip into and bring across because they were built for 6v6. And the issue that they had with Destiny 2 was that they built many of the maps for 4v4, which is what we originally started with. And then they came a cropper when we all kind of went, no, we like 6v6 and 3v3. So they're like, okay. So I would like to see maps. I think if you throw maps at people and the way that they're continuing to keep kind of revitalizing the sandbox, I think that is a good start to keep people interested in the game. And I've got faith that they will continually do it, but it's just they need to kind of put the maps in
and
I
make
got a
them
caveat.
more available because there's 25 maps, but they're not even available in every single playlist.
No.
Some playlists
No,
they all give you a subset of those maps. So it's not like I load up Control or Trials and there's 25 maps to choose from. It's whatever the subset is that's available in Control or Clash or Showdown or whatever it is. So it's even a smaller number in real life. Sorry, Dave, I didn't mean to cut you off.
No, you're good, man. Like, did you already speak your piece? I don't know if you did or not. Okay,
Yep, I'm good.
So I wanted to add on to this discussion on like the future and like what could be better and stuff like that with your question that you had, Hazel. Like when you look at a problem with a certain thing, you got to look at what's succeeding for the other thing, right? What's succeeding right now for PvE side of it? Like, what is it about it? Is the story, the lore, the feel, the resources poured into it and stuff like that. No,
The constant flow of more content, more spaces.
it has substance to it, and I think that's the big thing that PvP really doesn't have. It doesn't have substance outside of loot, right? Like some weapons, some Crucible weapons, Trials weapons, Iron Banner weapons. Okay, so that's the only thing that it has to it. To where the PvE side, you have that plus more. You have story, you have content, you have a good thing going, and I love the PvE side. So what I'm saying is, I think that maybe there needs to be, if they were to sit there and be like, hey, let's focus the PvP side, how about we sit there and give it a bit of a story to it? Now, I'm not talking about an entire season. I know TV kind of brought that up in his reaction spots. There'll never be, a season of this, a season of Crucible or anything like that. But I think there should be something with that. There should be something like, hey, let's talk about Shax's story. Let's talk about what the hell the Crucible was invented for. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, why is the Crucible a thing? It's to sit there and train Guardians to go prepare for the big fights against, Xivu and Oryx and all these other bad guys, right? Give it some substance, give it some purpose. And I think that would be a really good thing. And then on top of it, in your guys' episode, I believe it was one of your callers in, or perhaps a Discord one that sat there and talked about the open world PvP aspect.
Yeah.
Like, could you imagine how badass that would be to sit there and have an open world, a quote unquote dark zone type thing, or even in like one of the best games I played to this date, like back in the early 2000s, was Star Wars Galaxies, to where that shit was just complete open world. If you were a rebel and you saw an Imperial and you were both flagged for PvP, you guys could duel anywhere and all that kind of stuff. It was a little bit more ruthless. And also, what about like dueling? Just a simple duel. Let's duel each other right here. I don't know if you guys know World of Warcraft, but there's a dueling mechanic that you can do pretty much anywhere, to where you're just challenging the other person. Hey, let's practice against each other. Like, how cool would that be in the tower? And like, and wow, people would be circling around like, oh, let's watch these two duel. Like, just give it some substance, give it some variety outside of hitting the launch button, Yeah. And I think that would definitely bring some good.
Maybe that's after the final shape.
Hey, I've got a quick question here, because you mentioned something there about season, like a PvP focused season.
Mm-hmm.
How many people, just a quick yes or no, would be down for a PvP season?
Yes.
100%.
If Gambit can get one, PvP can get one.
Yeah, definitely.
Hey,
Okay. So, fun fact. Okay. I set y'all up. So, per TV, he said that true PvP players don't want that.
Oh, tell him to 1v1 me right now. Let's go. No, I'm just kidding.
On the duel.
That's what
Let's
he
go.
said. He
Sidearms
said
only.
that. He said
I will
that.
meet him in Iron Banner all week long.
Yeah, but that's what he said, though. He said that like PvP players don't want that outside of a limited minority.
So what was his reasoning for why not?
Well, because they don't want that. Because they know that the game is PvE focused. So to take the focus off of that would be basically
All right. Whoa. whoa.
unreasonable.
You're taking that out of context.
Oh, how am I taking it out of
Because
context when he said that PvP players don't want it outside of a minority of people?
What he meant by that is we're not ball hogs. We don't want the whole game to bend to us. All we want, just throw us a bone, man. Just throw us a bone.
You don't think
we
a
don't have to have
season
a
would
whole
do that?
season of. We don't have to have a whole season of Crucible.
Yeah,
Just
you
throw
do.
us a bone. Throw us something, man. That's what
But
he meant by
isn't
that statement.
But would so
You
you're
deserve
talking
your
out of
own
both
season.
sides of your mouth.
No, I'm not.
Basically.
I'm just saying you're taking that statement he said out of context. Because he said, "Now we don't want a PvP season. PvP players, we don't want a PvP season. We just want a bone. Throw us a bone." That's all he said in that video, and he said it a lot.
Well, with that being said, why don't we entertain the idea of a PvP season? Because okay,
But we don't want one.
I should.
No, yeah, you don't get one because you don't want one. There you
That was
go.
one of the-
Done.
You don't have to participate, but So again, PvP players, you guys have content. So I mean, be thankful for that. It could be worse. We got Season of the Drifter. So I mean, using this as the example of we're going to have a season and then never think about a thing again. That's when we had a whole new game mode, 4 custom armor sets, an entire armor sets, and basically positions on the field built around this, an entire second game mode in Reckoning that they created for this with its own gear, its own armor set. I'm still rocking the Gnawing Hunger I got from that roll back when it was around last. I mean, whole new weapon sets, whole new armor, massive gameplay updates, and that was also the season where we had the Recluse, the Oxygen SR3, and then 21% Delirium as our ritual weapons.
That's amazing.
So I mean, take something again. I know they've said we're not doing a ritual weapon. We're not doing that game breaking. Oh my god, you get this weapon and you one tap everybody in the Crucible again. But just give me something like that. Give me something to chase. Give me hey, here's a limited time for this year or this season, or hey, each of these next 3 seasons there will be some sort of either twist on Crucible or a different Crucible game. You gave us Gambit and Gambit Prime. Give me a twist on a Crucible thing, and then give me, hey, I get my Crimson Days back. Hey, it's a season of doubles. We're going to start with Crimson Days, and then we're going to give you, 2 or 3 other 2-in-2 modes, or 3v3, or 4v4, or a crazy action sack Halo style playlist of it's to celebrate Guardian games. We're going to have insert your ridiculous thing here. Take it, run with it, make a whole theme around it. Like I said, if you can do it for Gambit, you can absolutely do it for Crucible. No one says you have to participate. Nobody says you have to do this. But, I mean, you absolutely can. And there is sort of a little blueprint of, hey, they've done it once. Now, I'm not saying do it once and then never think about it again. But, hey, if Gambit can have a whole season, you could absolutely do a PvP-focused season with game and story elements and new, putting the big investment. That's the big giant, sign you can put on the highway going, hey, here's the big PvP season. Here's all the new stuff you're going to get in the season, in the year, in the final shape, whenever they do it. Here's the big bow we can put on top of it, and here's all the cool things you're going to have inside of that.
And to boot,
Still waiting for it. Still waiting for that season.
To boot, if
No,
it
you're
was
not,
a
though. You just don't need it, though.
season, how cool would it be on the PvE side to get to know Shax a little bit more and to do some stuff with him and to get to know his story?
Exactly.
That's after the final shape.
No, but you don't
They're
get
gonna-
it because you don't want it, though.
But maybe Shax will replace Zavala.
With the whole Gambit and the Derelict thing, like those extra activities that they did specifically for Gambit, I'd be curious to see how they'd implement that for PvP. Sorry, Raider, I didn't mean to cut you off, buddy.
No, you can. Like maybe they will replace Zavala with Shax.
How do they get Shax out of the? I mean, Zavala out of the game now that he's spoken his last recorded.
Yeah, I saw
content.
that. Yeah, that's crazy, man.
I'm curious
I
how
saw
they do
people
it.
talking about AI to like send them off and all kinds of stuff like that. I don't know, man.
Well, it's
Do you think it'll be like
a story?
Yeah. Do you think it'll be like, oh, did you hear about Zavala? He didn't make it back from so and so. You think it'll be like as a matter of fact like that, or
Come on now.
I'm hoping not.
I think they have enough content to keep him as an NPC. But in terms of a story-focused season or things like that, well, that time's already passed. So, I mean, that work's already been completed. So, I think he's good just to be in the game for now.
Yeah, and this is one of these unattributed. Oh, I heard someone talk about this somewhere. Not sourced from Bungie, but I heard someone say like, hey, with voiceover work, oftentimes they will have the actor actress who are doing that character sort of record a sort of break glass in worst case scenario send off for that character to sort of again either because of contract negotiations or whatever else, or the untimely passing, or any of those sort of, for some reason you can't come back and sort of write your character out. So I'm hoping maybe there's something like that exists of hey, here's where we can sort of do this and give him the send off that he deserves.
Yeah.
True.
Yeah. Don't count out AI also.
Mm.
That was our last episode.
I hate to say that dirty word, but man, AI is amazing right now.
Or you could just use Nolan North.
You mean Oliver North?
Get
I was going to say bring back the Dink.
Come full circle.
Bring back Ollie.
So I think for the
sorry. Go ahead there.
one of the last things that we'll touch on this topic here is the dedicated server thing, because that's a huge thing, right? Like Marathon's getting it, and that people off in Destiny is like, bro, we've been waiting on this forever. Like, and now you're doing it for your new shiny toy. If they could sit there and bring on about like dedicated servers, do you think that would reinvigorate the fan base for the PvP side?
No, it's too late. The reason Native, if you remember seeing the documentary on how they were making Marathon, I think it was Scott Taylor who said this statement. He goes, listen, integrity is our number one thing with this game. If we can't have integrity where there's no cheaters and people lag switching or peer-to-peer is not working correctly because you're across the country, he emphasized that we started with PvP integrity and then built the game around that. It's too late for Bungie. It's too late for Destiny. It's too late to do that. I think that writing's already on the wall, and I think that's the reason they went dedicated servers, is because of that statement Scott Taylor made.
Do you think it's a financial thing to do the dedicated servers, or do you think it's just
Battlefield always had dedicated? Battlefield had dedicated servers forever. People would try to lag switch or do something, they just run in place and you just shoot them in the head. You can try to lag switch or cheat or whatever. It's not going to affect my gameplay. I'll just shoot you in the head and you'll just move on. If people had bad connections, they would literally just start running in place and could do nothing in the game. That's because of dedicated servers, not peer-to-peer. Because peer-to-peer is going to affect me. All of a sudden, my packets are getting slung around because of this one guy in the party of 12 we're playing 6v6. His packets are messing up everybody's. You notice those long join times? You know there's somebody who doesn't have a good connection when you're trying to join a match and the screen goes black forever before the game starts. That's because the servers are trying to collect all this information and then release it.
Of all 12
It's always
people.
a bad sign. It's a bad sign.
Many people, yeah.
No.
Yeah. Now with dedicated servers, I mean, I'm no freaking expert. I think I am after dealing with IT this week, but you with dedicated servers, I know this is the way it was in Battlefield, is they had 32 versus 32 and there wasn't a hiccup. There were tanks running everywhere. There were planes flying. It was total mayhem. And those servers never failed. Well, most of the time never failed. They can handle the capacity because it was all dedicated. It was all run from one central location. We're just playing a part of it. But everything has to go back to Bungie's servers and then back out. And that bottleneck is what creates the issues with stability, I think, right now.
Yeah, so two things. One, Marathon has to be dedicated servers, and the PvP has to be phenomenal because that's all there is.
Right.
There's nothing else to fall back on, for one. So you have to do PvP and do it right. And two, Destiny is never going to re-architect the game to dedicated servers. At best, you are on 9-year-old code, 9-year-old infrastructure. The amount of work to rewrite that, to use dedicated servers, you don't want that, because it's going to be years before you get the game back to where it is now on dedicated servers. You're rewriting the game.
That's just a whole new game at that point.
Exactly. Okay. Yeah. I mean, and this is saying, at a minimum 9 years. This is assuming that was Halo dedicated servers or was Halo peer to peer? Does anybody know offhand? I don't remember.
I couldn't tell you.
Yeah, so I'm saying, bare minimum 2014 is when they started. I mean, they said before some of the systems in this game are from Halo. Some of this thing code is older. God knows how many years old. If Halo was peer to peer as well, it could be pieces of that they've taken and rewritten and built upon and built upon and built upon and built upon. It's not like you can just rip out. Say, hey, we're doing dedicated servers now and have things working. You are rebuilding this game from scratch.
Halo's
on
dedicated.
the PvP side. That's where I had a suspicion, but I could not remember. So yeah, I mean, a marathon's going to be, because it has to be, and it's a it's a 2020 era. That's when they started working on this thing. So of course they're going to do it right. And again, that's all there is. It has to be amazing. If the PvP sucks, it's going to bomb, and then you have no game. Destiny is, they're not going to massively do a rewrite on Destiny. Even if it goes on for another 10 years, the investment and the time, we as players don't want to say, they're going to say, hey guys, after the final shape 3 years from now, we'll have dedicated servers out. Because it's going to take us, that long to rewrite all this and get it back to the point where it's working.
And
they're not going to do it
until then.
Right. And yeah, exactly. It's like, it's not worth the investment. It's not worth, rebuilding this game from the ground up to give you a thing that may or may not solve your problems. We're still going to be moaning about maps because if you're doing that, you're not doing anything else. We're like getting new PvP stuff because that all has to be written and built.
Mm.
I mean, Destiny is going to be Destiny, whether it ends after the final shape or goes on for another 10 years. Unless they do a full-on brand new game and say, hey, here's where D2 ends, here's where D3 or whatever, Destiny Infinite, whatever, begins. They're not going to rip out the underlying core of this game and rebuild it. I'll get off my soapbox now. I've been dealing with IT and infrastructure and server and architecture all week, so my brain's sort of like in this world.
Well, I mean, I for one appreciate that because I don't understand how a lot of that stuff works. I mean, I have an idea and I have a good intuition because I have a background in computer networking technology, but this ins and outs, I mean, you certainly have a bit more knowledge in that area than I do, so I appreciate it.
Tiny bit. I'm sure the people out there going, he's entirely wrong about all the things. Oh, yeah, I'm sure I am. I'm no expert, but I know just enough to be dangerous. But if for nothing reason, I mean, from a business perspective, they're going to say, we can keep going with this game we've been running successfully for 9 years and improve on it, or stop and do a major rewrite that's going to take people and hours and time that you're still paying for as a company to give you, do you improve on the game or do you stop, rip out all your PvP, rebuild it, and you still have to pay all those people? You still, it's still time and money as a company you're spending for what?
So
is it worth the investment?
So what about this? Like the lack of giving to the PvP community and stuff like this. Like we deal with this and we blame it on the general population, right? Blame it on the new game coming out, Marathon. Like, what if the end of the saga is the reset? Is the change to something new? Is the change to bring about dedicated servers or new engines or anything like that? Has that been confirmed that after Final Shape, it's going to be anything new, infrastructurally, or?
Well, I mean, they basically said Destiny's not over after Final Shape, and there's also this Matter IP that's floating around. There's this Matter IP, which is not Marathon, it's not Destiny, it's something else. But it sort of has been resurfaced in all of the Activision Blizzard. Microsoft buying them has sort of surfaced some of these old emails from when the rumors of, hey, might Microsoft buy Bungie? So it's sort of this Matter IP they've been working on, which is something is out there, but we don't know what it is. They've not talked about it. They've said, hey, it's not Marathon and it's not Destiny. It's something else. Might it be related to that? Sure. But it's something else out there that they are doing something with. Is it the TV show? Is it the movies? Is it a whole new game? Is it the mobile game that I keep hearing people talk about? It's something that some part of the company is working on. So maybe that's part of it. Maybe that's their code name for, hey, we're working on Destiny 3 or whatever they call the next evolution of Destiny. I mean, at some point, hey, say our game's been out for 10 years. We've got technical debt forever. At some point, it would make it easier to cut the cord and say, hey, this is where we leave the old consoles behind. This is where we up the system specs. This is where we start requiring faster memory, faster SSDs, all this other stuff. When does that happen?
That's what I'm curious about. Like, could that be happening in the background now?
Rodimus's theory that they're slowly improving the servers, right? Getting ready.
No, that was mine. Rodimus was that they're improving. What was it again?
Well, he said they were making slight changes every week to the server system. Whatever that means. The engine, whatever.
That's for what the TWID was about this week, is basically saying, hey, there's this claim system, all of the 10,000 systems that power this game, and any one of them can fall over and break. So it's like, hey, we're working on all these things, keeping them up and running while keeping this game working and accessible for all of us for the most part.
Yeah.
So yeah. I mean, every single day, every single week, they're working on the back end. They're working on infrastructure. They're working on stuff that we as players never see or interact with.
Yeah.
We see, like they talk about this claim system. Hey, I got a kill in PvP. Hey, I picked a weapon. Hey, I did this. All of that is all these servers on the back end doing all this stuff that we never see, but it all has to work for us to enjoy our game, to get our little, our characters to move, our guns to play right, our bullets to hit. Like they're always working on the stuff and improving the stuff. It's not like they're going, all right, we've turned the game on. Now we can walk away for 2 weeks and come back.
And what you've also got to consider is the fact that we still have Destiny 1 tied to Destiny 2. Because when the servers go down for Destiny 1, they also go down for Destiny 2, and vice versa sometimes. I don't understand why they're still connected, but they're still connected in some way that if one affects the other.
Yeah, I think at some point we lose D1, and then D2, kicks the old consoles to the curb, and we see that bump, and okay, here's the new thing. You're going to need to have the new stuff to play it.
You better have 100 gigs.
We're going to start cutting. We're going to start cutting off the old people. And I was just reading today. PC games are starting to say you need to have SSD memory. I mean, honestly, you're not buying a new computer today running on old spinning rest hard drives. You're just not. You sort of have to work to find those. Like, we're still supporting. I mean, what, the PS4 and like Xbox, like the original Xbox One can still play Destiny 2. I mean, put that next to a Series X. Put the PS4. I don't know, all the various PlayStation versions. Put that next to the 5 and the 6 or whatever when that comes out, and saying, this can play the same thing. Your blazing PC and your 10-year-old ancient PC can play the same game. It's not the same experience, but you can absolutely still play it. At some point, Bungie's going to say, you can't do this anymore. We're going to have to move that minimum requirements to be a lot more modern to let us do all the things we want to do. Looking at you, Vault Space.
I wanted to quickly revisit a question that Hazel had asked me earlier in regards to what Bungie could do to make PvP feel better for me specifically, even where I had answered a higher pop. I'm going to reconsider that answer. I just had the new answer on the tip of my tongue and it's gone.
Welcome to my world.
Lower population. You decide you want fewer people. If it's just you, it'll be perfect. You're the only... No.
We're all getting older, Sweaty.
Oh gosh, I'm fading.
It's contagious.
That's my line.
I was holding on to it too. That was my problem. I was holding on. I was like, don't forget it.
Notepad, bro. Notepad. That's what I did. I pulled out my notepad. I started typing it before I forget.
I need to start doing that.
It'll come back to me.
I'll fix it in post. It'll be fine. It'll be flawless.
Yeah, I'll edit that.
I'll edit that. Yeah.
I think we wrapped up pretty much the show topic. We've talked about it a bit. Before we do end this, and any closing thoughts for you guys, I'm not trying to cut it off or anything like that, but I did want to get to these questions that Raph asked, because I promised him that they would get answered. He did it via the YouTube live. We do have questions from the Discord, but we're going to save those for the next show. But we have to get to these, especially with our primary guests here with Hazelnt and Gatr. The first one from Raph. Question for Hazel. will you ever not argue like a married couple with Gatr?
No. Well, I mean, only if he ever, just agrees with me blindly.
Which is never going to happen. So there you go, Rafi.
That sounds like a married couple.
I'm not going to say you're wrong.
I'm not going to say you're right.
No, I was talking to Native, not you.
Oh, sorry.
Married couple again.
Native's like, I've had this conversation.
Exactly.
And then Rafi driving in a question for Native. When I visit my family in Cali, when will we hang out, brosive?
As soon as you land, I'll pick you up. I got you. I'll pick you up from the airport. Ontario, LAX, or even Vegas, which is closer-ish, traffic-wise. I got you. All right, we'll get to the other Discord questions on our next episode, but first, closing thoughts, gentlemen, on like everything that we discussed here, PvP, the future, the current state. Like, please, let's go around the table real quick before we get to our announcements. Starting with you, Hazel.
Okay.
Up top left.
All right. I want to say, the future, not to be funny, but it can go nowhere but up. So Here's hoping that it does, and that, that people enjoy the ride.
Trust the process.
And not yeah, exactly. Trust Bungie. And here's hoping that the PvP players don't get the season that they want. So, or don't want.
Gatr?
Everyone needs to, especially your veterans that are among us, need to remember why we played this game originally. The magic about it that made it such a great game and why we still play it today. And just to be good to your guardians out there, man. All this slander and calling out people, and why? Why? I don't understand. It's why I say it at the end of our show. Be good to your guardians out there. We're all in this together, And as far as the future of PvP, I think Hazel said it. Damn, did I just agree with Hazel? It can go nowhere but up. I'll leave it at that.
And our two additional guests that crashed the party here, Peroty.
I would just like to say, remember, it can go down. Look at Gambit as your guide. Not to be that guy, but I'm just we've got
Gambit's
3 including players that hasn't existed for years. It
3
warms
maps.
my heart starting this season and stepping foot onto Titan going, well, I've been here for months. I feel right at home. This is just a Gambit map. We're just here hanging out. But seriously, it's a game. We play it to have fun. We play it to relax. We play it to hang out with our friends. We play it to, turn our brains off and get away from life. Or we play it to say, I met lovely people who live across the country and across the world. And I can say I can put a fire team together between the US, the UK, and Australia and go really test these servers and see what happens. Bring that into trial. Have a good time with it. Play the friend game. Play the fashion game. If you're not enjoying it, there's other games. Destiny will be there. It will be fine. It's this point, just the toxicity. This is what turns people off. This is, if you're saying, why are people not playing? There was someone in the Reddit going, hey, is it like this every week? I sort of just came to the game. I picked up, I saw it on Steam, picked up, played through the New Light campaign, really enjoyed it. Said, let me go look for communities. Oh my God, I walked into this toxic, mud throwing fest. It's a game. Just take a breath and relax. There's plenty of other games. No one's going to hunt you down and go, you didn't put your 20 hours into Destiny this week. It's a game. Take a breath.
I'll
relax. That is correct. Unless you're on a podcast, your show editor will hunt you down and say, listen, we have a show to put out. But beyond that, you're good to go. So don't be a content creator for a game if you don't want to go enjoy and play the game.
And I will just say that I've already bought my ticket for the hype train. I am waiting at the station for August 22nd, and I know Bungie are going to deliver, and it's going to blow everybody out of the water, and everybody's going to turn their cars around and go, okay, we're going back on that train, and we're going to go back down here, and it's going to be amazing. Because they're bringing back Cade as well. Come on, there must be something fantastic going on with the final shape and the future of Destiny. They're not just going to announce game stuff. I think it's going to be stuff that they actually partner up with Sony for films and other media. It's going to be fantastic, and we're all going to lose our stuff, and it's going to be amazing.
I hope we find it. But
what?
Our stuff.
Okay.
That we lost.
It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter.
It doesn't matter?
No, it doesn't matter. It's like our vault exploding in Destiny 1. We get it all back at some point.
We get our negativity back. I understand where you're coming from. Yeah.
A year from now, we'll be right back here.
Yeah. Meet you all back here. We'll set our watches. We'll be back here and we'll talk about how the community's blown up again because they're upset.
Same bat time, same bat channel.
It will be all the Gambit mains that'll be upsetting it this time next year. Peroty be leading the charge. I want my reckoning back.
Give me my reckoning. Give me my Gambit Prime. Give me my 4 different classes. Come on.
Destiny goes through these seasons. We're just in that one season that everyone's doing the same thing they did a year ago, and the year before that, and the year before that. Is what it is.
It's a good season right now, though.
Season deep's nice.
It's a good season.
Go to the helm, look at some fish, take a deep breath. Go find one of Froggy's videos where he goes and swims through all the fish out of bounds. Just deep breath. Enjoy the callous bobblehead. Just deep breath. Enjoy the water. Enjoy the fishes.
Sweaty, what you got?
Well, right now, if PvP ain't doing it for you, raiding is a real good time. The future of Destiny 2 PvP. Of course, it can only go up from here. I think what the community at large, just again, personal opinion, is we have to really temper our expectations and perhaps not be so entitled to whenever things don't go our way. Now, of course, there is a certain... Whenever Bungie says it themselves, it makes it a little bit more difficult that way. But, I think that our expectation level should just probably start to come down a little bit so we can allow ourselves to be surprised when that one good thing does pop, and then we can really notice it. If we can still lower our expectations, still play the game, then why are we getting so worked up to begin with? Because honestly, I'm just here to have some fun, man. I like shooting stuff and I like making friends. That's basically why I play this game. If I'm not having fun, either by shooting stuff, if I'm not having fun, either by making friends, go somewhere else for the time being. I'll come back because Destiny will still be here.
Beautiful, bro. I love that. No, that was good. For myself, closing thoughts, future of PvP. Bro, I'm still having fun in it, to be honest. And if you're not, maybe you just need to get better. Perhaps maybe that's a thing. Maybe improve your skill. Maybe get in there a little bit more. It's up to you.
Why are you looking at Hazel?
I hope Grenader Jake is listening to that.
Just take some Crucible and pump some Crucible iron, okay?
Yeah, or just play Titan and have fun, and have 1 or 4 drinks. Like, it's up to you. But I enjoy it, man. Like, I still enjoy it. I don't understand the exact big blemish that's put on the PvP side. I understand. Let's get a new map. Let's get something new. But I'm still very, very well enjoying it. Maybe you play it too much. Like Sweaty said, go hit another game. And I guarantee you probably go to another game and you probably be like, damn, man, like I kind of want to play Destiny again. This is kind of ass, Like, it's up to you. But I'm enjoying it. That's it. I can only look up.
Yeah, I end up missing that optimal 3 tapping, TTK on a hand cannon. I'm like, that satisfaction dopamine hit hasn't hit in a while. I need to do that again. Let's go play some Control or something.
Yeah. All right, let's go ahead and run into announcements real quick. Scrims next Sunday, 6 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. Join up in the 100.io bot on Discord. We're going to try to keep this a running thing on Sundays and throughout the weekend, but we're going to try to keep this running thing. Website and merch shop was delayed a little bit, but will be up soon, and we'll announce it via the announcement channel in the Discord. We'll also be announcing the time and details of our next trivia night. Me and Fluffy will be hosting it again this season, and it's going to be open to the public this time. Open to the Discords, open to the Owl Sector Alliance, but more details are to come. There will be a prize. I actually have the prize in the drawer right now. So that's coming, and it's going to be fun. And we're going to do a 2-rounder this time. And there's not just going to be like text questions. There'll also be audio. There'll be videos, kind of like your typical daily doubles and that. So it's going to be fun.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, there it is. There it was. That is episode 22 in the books. But before we go, we would like to give our guests a little bit of the spotlight. So let's start with Gatr and Hazel. If you guys could give your details to the listener where they can find you. And then following that, we'll do the same with Peroty and Nitedemon.
We're two dads. We love the game of Destiny, that kind of thing. And if you want to hear hot takes, arguing by old dads, check us out at guardiandowncast.com.
Well said. Where can they find you though, Hazel?
Oh, well, yeah. You can find me anywhere and everywhere, quick and easy. Hazelnt in all the places except for Twitch, where I never stream anymore, and it's the Hazelnt.
Gotta like that branding. I am Todd the Gatr. That's 2 Ds, Gatr. You can find me on Twitter. You can find me on YouTube. Hey, I have a channel. I make videos for people who are trying to figure out all the little things in this game called Destiny 2 that we all love. And I have some opinion pieces. I have short clips, YouTube shorts of our podcast, Guardian Downcast. All of our podcast episodes are also on that channel as well. So it's at Todd the Gatr if you're going to YouTube Direct. And I have another podcast called the Destiny Help Desk that does the very same thing that my YouTube channel does, but in an audio form for those of you who don't have time to watch videos and just want to listen to something while at work. So check it out.
We do what they do, except we have a British guy and a guy who shouts more. And we've also cornered the market. Just go to a search box, type in Two Titans and a Hunter. You'll find the show. You'll see the lovely neon dragons. We've actually paid everyone to direct you to our show first, and then find the rest of the shows. It was a lot of money. The conversions into British pounds. It took some work, but we got it done.
He's not lying.
He's not.
It's actually true.
Google, they have the Google juice.
Yeah.
All credit to the British man who makes this show possible every single week and continues to pump out those videos, who has a mind like a steel trap and knows everything and all the things. He has a rotation list. He has enough to wrangle a respawn. And if you can do that for like 3 years, I mean, I think he's just another child at this point.
Just don't tell my wife it's 4 years.
We would never. We would never. We've been doing this for like 2 or 3 weeks. Tops, yeah. Promise.
Does that look worse on Respawn or worse on Nitedemon for putting up with each other, though?
Well, just remember, I mean, Saladin is Nitedemon's exterior, but Respawn's interior. So they're actually one and the same person. It just depends on the day.
That's amazing.
No, but this has been a blast. Thanks for letting us crash. Since this is international, you need to record a Destiny podcast on Thursday night. I appreciate you letting us come and crash the party. So we actually just, we have the surveillance set up on Gator's house, so we just need to know. We have Respawn drive by, update the cameras, move him around periodically so we know what he's up to so we can go find him. That's all.
For Spooks and Native, for our podcast, how would people find you?
Mr. Native Raider. I think he's got a good answer for this.
On the internet?
The website.
Wow. I love that branding.
Is that what this is? Wait, this on the internet.
That's amazing.
The interweb. It starts with www.something letters and then ends with a .com. No, I'm not announcing the website yet.
I'm sorry.
Because it has too many dashes and too many different things that make it look like a horrible spam. Like I'm about to hack your ass like a URL. So until I lock down that URL, which is hopefully coming soon. It was supposed to be today. Unfortunately, it wasn't. But yeah, you can find us on here, YouTube, if you're watching. You can find us on
In the
any of your
Discord.
podcast networks, the Discord, and all that kind of good stuff.
Absolutely.
Cool.
Yeah, if you're looking for the show, you can find us just by searching up the Blueberry Lounge on Spotify or Apple Podcasts, really any kind of a podcast catcher that's out there. I'm pretty confident that we're pushed out to all of the platforms. Yeah, I hope that answers the question. If you're looking for us, just hit us up in Discord.
All right, Spooks, where can people find you?
Well, this is Sweatyspookz, ending with a Z, as in Zulu, or Zebra, or Zebra. You can find me at Sweaty_Spooks at either Twitch, Twitter, YouTube, or you can reach out to me in the Discord.
There we go. You can find me pretty much all the same places. That's N8IV space R8R. Yeah, that's pretty much it.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, there you have it. Episode 22. And with our closing statement, may your stars be bright and your ghosts sharp, guardians. Take care of each other out there.
But there you go. We managed to crash one podcast or two podcasts in one. And we've come back over here now to tell you what's happening this week in Bungie, this week in Destiny. Hello and welcome to the 7th week of Season 21, Season of the Deep, starting on July 4th, 2023. So for Week 7, let's kick things off with our Legacy rotation, starting with the Forsaken expansion.
Ready if you are. Let's see what's out there.
The Dreaming City this week is at a strong curse level, which means Petrovenge can be found in Ria Silvia, and has the Dark Monastery mission for the next week. The Blind Well features Taken enemies and the Plague Inamina. The Ascendant challenge this week will be Ouroboros, which can be located over in the Aphelions Rest Lost sector on the Dreaming City. Next up, the Shadowkeep expansion. On the Moon, the weekly story mission is in the Deep. The Trove Guardian is located in the Hellmouth. The Wandering Nightmare is the Nightmare Azotl in Sorrow's Harbour. And the Nightmare hunts this week will be Tanyx, Isolation, Zydron, Servitude, and Gaul, Rage. For our Beyond Light expansion, on Europa this week, Praxis the Technocrat will be the Empire Hunt, Cadmus Ridge will be the Eclipse Zone, and the Exo Challenge will be Safeguard. For the 30th anniversary expansion, we have the loot rotation for Dares of Eternity, which will be on Week 3's rotation with the Scatterhorn armor set and the Lightkin armor set being available. The weapons available this week are the Kinetic Rapid Fire Frame Auto Rifle Chroma Rush, the Kinetic Lightweight Frame Grenade Launcher Ignition Code, the Void Rapid Fire Frame Pulse Rifle Grid Skipper, the Kinetic Lightweight Frame Sidearm Farewell, the Solar Pinpoint Slug Frame Shotgun Sonja's Tail, the Void Rapid Fire Frame Machine Gun Shattered Cipher, the Arc Precision Frame Fusion Rifle Main Ingredient, the Kinetic Adaptive Frame Sniper Rifle Long Shadow, the Arc Omolon Adaptive Frame Sidearm Last Dance, the Kinetic Aggressive Frame Shotgun Toil and Trouble, the Solar Rapid Fire Frame Shotgun Wishbringer, and the Void Adaptive Frame Pulse Rifle Last Perdition. For the Witch Queen expansion, the Witch Queen weekly story mission is the Ritual, where the modifier is Fire Pit, as well as Barrier and Unstoppable Champions. Also this week you will have Altar of Reflection's Choice, and Altar of Reflection Insight. The Wellspring activity has been updated to include a featured Throne Word weapon, Veritas armor, and a weapon pattern as its rewards. For the Lightfall expansion, the weekly mission is No Time Left, with Barrier and Unstoppable Champions, lock loadouts at Legend difficulty and higher, Void Threat, Void and Strand Shields, Pestilence, Arc and Strand Surge, with overcharged machine guns and galvanized on hero difficulty only. The Partition mission will be Hard Reset, Contest Mode enabled with Barrier and Unstoppable Champions, Arc Threat, Scorched Earth, Pestilence and Martyr modifiers, Arc and Strand Shields with Void and Strand Surges. And the Vex incursion this week will be Liming Harbour. In addition, the weekly Lightfall reset also refreshes the Pinnacle drop for the Node Override Avalon exotic mission on the EDZ. For the Season of the Deep, the featured fishing pond will be on the EDZ. Raids and Dungeons. The Root of Nightmares raid challenge this week is the third encounter, Macrocosm, called Cosmic Equilibrium. Players must swap all of the dark planets to the left side of the room and all of the light worlds to the right. The Kingsfall Raid challenge this week is the second encounter, War Priest, called Devious Thievery. Players must steal the brand of the Initiate within a couple of seconds of taking the brand claimer's buff. The Vow the Disciple challenge this week is the fourth encounter, Rulk, called Looping Catalyst. This is where Guardians must not lose the leeching force before the damage phase. The Vault of Glass challenge this week is the third encounter, Templar, called Out of Its Way, where you must keep the Templar from teleporting. The Deepstone Crypt challenge this week is the second encounter, Atrax 1, called Copies of Copies, where you must not send any Atrax 1 replicant debuffs into the airlock/space. And the Garden of Salvation challenge this week is the fourth encounter, Sanctified Mind, called 0 to 100, where you must fully fill each conflux with 30 motes within 10 seconds of initially banking the first set of motes. Your Pinnacle Raid will be the Last Wish over on the Dreaming City, which means all challenges will be available for each encounter. These are the first encounter, Kali, called Summoning Ritual. Players must activate and cleanse all 9 plates, then kill all 9 knights and ogres before damaging Kali. The second encounter, Shirochi, called Witch Witch. Guardians must not get hit or take damage from Shirochi's Arc Blast. The third encounter, Morgoth, called Forever Fight. Players must not kill the small ogres during the encounter. The fourth encounter, Vault, called Keep Out. Guardians must ensure that no Might of Riven Knights make it to the center chamber during the Vault fight. And the fifth encounter, Riven, called Strength of Memory, where Guardians must not shoot the same Riven Eye twice. Also, with the Last Wish being the featured raid, this does mean that you can farm the final boss for a chance at the exotic heavy fusion rifle, 1000 Voices. And the Pinnacle Dungeon for this week will be the Duality over on the Derelict Leviathan on the Moon. Next up, challenges. Frontline Salvager 7. Complete 3 salvage or deep dive activities whilst wearing Season the Deep armor. Additionally, defeat 10 bosses and mini-bosses anywhere in the system for Challenge XP+. Salvage Legend. Complete salvage on Legend difficulty for Challenge XP+. Salvage Munitions. Defeat 300 targets with seasonal weapons. Defeated Guardians or combatants defeated in salvage or deep dive activities grant additional progress for Challenge XP+. Fleeting Glory. Complete Crucible matches in the competitive playlist. Earn bonus progress for wins for Challenge XP++ and Bright Dust. High Value Hunter. Defeat powerful combatants in Gambit. Earn bonus progress for defeating high value targets for Challenge XP++ and Bright Dust. And Grandmaster. Complete any Nightfall strike on Grandmaster for Challenge XP++ and Bright Dust.
Hello!
As a reminder, your daily lost sector will show you a flag outside which will give you details of threats, shields, champions and exotic armor you will find inside. But if you're new to the game or using an alternate character and can't find the flag outside, you will have to run through the lost sector normally to have it show up on your map as a legend/master, which you can either do solo or with a fire team, but you will only be able to earn a chance at the exotic drop when completing solo. Tuesday, July 4th will be Vel's Labyrinth on the Cosmodrome for exotic boots, Arc Threat, Void and Arc Surges, Arc and Solar Shields, Fire Pit modifier with Barrier and Unstoppable champions. Wednesday, July 5th will be Exodus Garden 2A on the Cosmodrome for exotic gauntlets, Void Threat, Arc and Void Surges, Void Shields, Scorched Earth modifier with Barrier and Overload champions. Thursday, July 6th will be the K1 Revelations on the Moon for exotic chests, Void Threat, Arc and Strand Surges, Arc Shields, Fire Pit modifier, Overcharged machine guns with Barrier and Unstoppable champions. Friday, July 7th will be the K1 Crew Quarters on the Moon for exotic helmets, Arc Threat, Arc and Strand Surges, Solar Shields, Hot Knife modifier, Overcharged Glaives with Barrier and Overload champions. Saturday, July 8th will be the K1 Logistics on the Moon for exotic boots, Void Threat, Arc and Void Surges, Arc and Solar Shields, Hot Knife and Chafe modifiers, Overcharged Sniper Rifle with Barrier and Overload champions. Sunday, July 9th will be the K1 Communion on the Moon for exotic gauntlets, Solar Threat, Arc and Strand Surges, Solar and Void Shields, Arachno modifier, Overcharged Linear Fusion Rifle with Barrier and Overload champions. And finally, back round to Monday, July 10th will be Sepultura on the Throne World for exotic chests, Solar Threat, Arc and Strand Surges, Arc and Solar Shields, Fire Pit modifier, Overcharged Fusion Rifle with Barrier and Unstoppable champions.
Lead the way.
The Grandmaster Nightfall selection node returns this week, bringing with it our 7th featured Nightfall of the season, which will see us face off against Sepkis Prime in the Devil's Lair Nightfall over on the Cosmodrome. where you have a chance to get a pinnacle engram if you complete the Nightfall with a score of 200k or more. This Nightfall is free to play. You will be able to earn high-end gear for your characters, including the Nightfall featured weapon, exotic gear, enhancement cores, enhancement prisms, ascendant shards, and adept Nightfall ciphers. The higher the Nightfall difficulty, the more common the drop will be, with the featured weapon and exotic gear being uncommon at hero difficulty to being common with ascendant shards in Grandmasters. Legend and lower Nightfalls will have 4 barrier and 8 overload champions, with 5 solar, 8 void, and 17 arc shields. Masters will have 4 barrier and 15 overload, with 5 solar, 8 void, and 8 arc shields. Your Nightfall modifiers are hero difficulty, maximum effective level 1765. Matchmaking is available. Enemies have extra shields. Champions foe, you will face barrier and overload champions. You can either use intrinsic exotics, use a subclass debuff, or unlock anti-champion mods from the seasonal artifact. Arc threat, 25% increase to incoming arc damage. Arachno, when defeated, Fallen Vandals spawn web mines at their feet. Overcharge weapons. Weapons overcharged from the seasonal artifact are active in this activity. Kinetic weapons do increased damage when your subclass element matches an active surge. Arc Surge, 25% bonus to outgoing arc damage. Strand Surge, 25% bonus to outgoing strand damage. Overcharged Linear Fusion Rifle, 25% bonus damage with linear fusion rifles. Galvanized, combatants have more health and are more difficult to stun. Legend difficulty, maximum effective level 1815, includes all previous modifiers except Galvanized. No matchmaking. Equipment locked, you will be unable to change your equipment once the mission starts. Master difficulty, maximum effective level 1820, includes all previous modifiers except Galvanized. Champions mob, this difficulty adds more champion enemies. Togetherness, base health regen is reduced, if near another player health regen is increased. Grandmaster difficulty, maximum effective level 1815, includes all previous modifiers except Galvanized. Joining progress disabled. Extinguish, if your fire team falls in a restricted zone, your team is returned to orbit. Limited revives, gain additional revives by defeating champions, up to a maximum of 20. Contest mode, which caps your power level to make enemies more of a challenge. And Chafe, radar is disabled. To combat champions this season, you have access to subclass counters as well as a choice of intrinsic anti-champion artifact mods, which are Anti-Barrier Auto Rifle, Overload Scout Rifle, and Overload Trace Rifle. You also have exotic weapons and armor that can help with intrinsic mods as well. For Anti-Barrier, the Kinetic Bow Wishender, the Kinetic Linear Fusion Rifle Arbalest, the Kinetic Pulse Rifle Revision 0, the Solar Energy Hand Cannon Ariana's Vow, the Solar Heavy Sword The Lament, and the Titan Gauntlet Second Chance, which gain a second charge of a shield throw melee, which becomes shield piercing and stuns barrier champions. And for Overload, the Void Energy Bow Le Monarch, the Arc Energy Linear Trace Rifle Divinity, the Arc Heavy Machine Gun Thunderlord, and the Warlock Exotic Boots the Secant Filaments, which when you drop an Empowering Rift, any weapon that is fired from inside the well can cause an Overload champion to be stunned. The Nightfall featured weapon to obtain this week will be the Kinetic Adaptive Frame Sidearm, the Buzzard. The Buzzard has a base impact of 49, range of 36 and stability of 67. It can roll with Frenzy, Rangefinder and Kinetic Tremors, with Pulse Monitor, Perpetual Motion and Overflow. It has the origin trait of Stunning Recovery, where if you stun a champion you partially refill the magazine, trigger health regen and improve your recovery for a short duration. And Vanguard Vindication, where final blows with the weapon grant a small amount of health. Lord Shaxx brings Momentum Control to the Crucible for the 7th week of the season. Momentum Control is a 6v6 PvP mode which is a variation on the regular control mode, where every weapon is significantly higher in lethality, meaning that you can take out your opponents much faster than normal. Respawns are instant, and defeating enemy players in Momentum Control will grant faster regeneration on your melee, grenade, and super. Players get increased damage resistance when they activate a super, to help counteract that little bit of extra damage that the guns give out. The mode also has increased capture speed on points and radar is removed for every player. Achieve victory by capturing zones and defeating opponents. And Clash will be returning this week in the Relentless Crucible playlist. Clash is a 6v6 PvP mode where level advantages are disabled. Points are gained through scoring kills against the opposing team. Players are not penalised for low map control and can bunker down together or fan out as they see fit. Strength in numbers is paramount as a lone player can be picked off very quickly by a team shooting enemies. Heavy ammo can swing the balance of a match, so controlling the box can be the key to winning. Super usage both offensively and defensively is one way to break the deadlock.
Delightful!
Trials of Osiris Dominion will be back once again at the weekend with some new rewards for players who do make it to the Lighthouse and open the chest. These include the Hero's Wake exotic Ghost Shell, the Valiant Memory exotic Ship, the Survivor's Journey exotic Sparrow, and the new Trials shader, Glorious Platina. Trials of Osiris Dominion is a 3v3 PvP high-stakes game mode with a twist of capturing points. In Dominion, 2 teams of 3 go head-to-head in a battle for control of a capture point. Teams can either work together to capture the control point or eliminate the enemy team to win the round. Only available from Friday reset until Tuesday weekly reset, Trials gives every player the chance to show off their PvP skills to obtain some of Destiny's most sought-after weapons and armour. Players that compete in Trials of Osiris will have all of their games tracked to a passage card, a ticket purchased from Saint 14 in the lower hangar of the tower. Winning rounds and matches in Trials will grant exclusive weapons, armour, pinnacle gear, masterwork material, and even adept gear for the most skilled players who can reach the Lighthouse with a flawless ticket of 7 games won and no losses. 5 round wins will bag you the match for your passage card. By competing in Trials, you do have a chance to pick up 2 pinnacle engrams from playing each week, one from 50 round wins and the other from winning 7 games. These do not have to be done all in one go, but you do have to complete them before the weekly reset.
That is amazing.
Plus next week you can enjoy bonus reputation all week long in Crucible, Gambit, and Vanguard Ops playlists, bonus rewards in Nightfalls, and bonus exotic fish drop rates at all fishing locations to celebrate Bungie Day. And that's it for the 7th week of Season of the Deep.
Guardian down.
You know what happened last week in the TWID, because the guys went over it. So that was it. So this week, there's an update on game stability and the next steps. Next week is Lucky Week in Fishing. I was thinking of you when I read this. I thought, Peroty will like Lucky Week in Fishing, because that's good. There's the final round of Drowning in the Drip, the current Prime Gaming drops extended to July 19th, the Community Emblem Competition, which we've already kind of gone over at the beginning, and the latest update from the player support team, or as we like to call him, Peroty, and the art and movies of the week. So there's an update on game stability and next steps. Now, there's a lot of jargon in this, and Peroty has taken the time and understood every single word of it. He's going to break it all down for you right now. Go.
Things are broken. Things are fixed. We're going to work on them. No, I mean, basically, Bungie goes into, to be fair, the community's been saying, tell us what's wrong with the servers. Tell us why things are bad. What's happening? And Bungie's going, well, here you go. Here's improving our infrastructure. And they go on and talk about this whole claim system. Basically, the claim system is there's a ton of information that has to happen. For you to play this game, you sit at your keyboard or in your controller, and you're moving your character, and you're jumping, and you're shooting, and you're getting kills, and you're picking up glimmer, and you're interacting with the game world. All that information has to go somewhere. All that has to go from the device, the console, the computer you're playing on, back to Destiny servers. That has to live somewhere in a database. It has to get stored. It has to get processed, and then it has to show something on your HUD. Oh, hey, you got a kill. Here's the numbers popping up. You picked up glimmer. We have to add that glimmer to your set of things. Hey, you went to the store or picked up something from your postmaster. We have to move that from this spot to this spot and update your character and make sure that it's listed in your vault. All these things, basically, it's a ton of information that has to happen and it has to be processed. And basically, they're working on the system because there's just a ton of stuff happening where they're seeing lag in all these communications. You can sort of think about this if you're on, I'll use Discord as an example. We're gamers. You're probably in a Discord server somewhere. You're in your Discord server. You've got messages, you've got channels, you've got voice chats. It's not just your Discord server. It's everybody's Discord server. Millions and millions of people on millions and millions of Discord servers sending millions and millions of messages. And Discord is keeping track of all of these. When I DM Nitedemon, it's not sending it to Respawn. When I'm talking in a group, there's just the 3 of us. It's just the 3 of us. Everybody can't see those. It's keeping track of a massive, mind-blowing amount of information. And it has to do it very, very quickly. Because when I go shoot, when I'm running with Nitedemon in the Iron Banner, and I'm shooting somebody, I want to see those numbers. I want to see the damage. I want to see his health bar go down. That's all data that has to happen. And it has to happen with all the players and all the matches and all of the game. And what Bungie is basically saying is, this process is getting slow. They're seeing some errors. If you're processing trillions or millions or billions or whatever of messages in a day, some of them are going to fail for any number of reasons. Oh, you're on a computer and your power went out. You lost your internet connection. Oh, your console crashed. Oh, someone, tripped over the router and unplugged it in your house. You lost your connectivity. Any number of reasons in any part of the system, something can break. And basically what they're saying is the claim system should sort of heal itself. There's multiple versions of all these things. There's all these different servers, all these different databases, and going, hey, if one fails, another one should pick up and do the job. Well, it is, but it's not doing it as quickly as they'd like, and that's what leads to errors. When you start seeing the errors, it's basically the game going, hey, we had an error, we're trying to recover from it, we couldn't, so I'm going to kick you to orbit because I basically don't know what's happened. I sort of have to just stop and say, things are broken, I need to stop and sort of reset, and then say, let me reconnect you to the game, let me catch up with all these messages and all these errors I'm trying to process, great. Now let me go and put you back. That's why when you get kicked out, but you got your rewards, you might log back into the game, and it'll say, oh, hey, here's your rank up. Hey, here's that emblem or engram that dropped. Hey, here's the thing you should have gotten before you got kicked. That's the game catching up and self-correcting in the background as it's doing all this.
Yeah, and give them their due. I mean, they do say that in preparation for Lightfall and future releases, they made a big effort to kind of back up that infrastructure and work on updating that claims system. And, I mean, they were right. I mean, Lightfall and the Root of Nightmares World First race was a fantastic job. I mean, if we remember the previous raid, there were so many crashes, there were so many bugs, there were so many issues with it was a little bit of a failure for the amount of errors that were going on in that World's First race and then further on into the game. So whatever they did with the systems for, Lightfall and the Root of Nightmares raid had improved, but they say that, in updating it and making it better, they have identified more errors in the claim system, which they are actively working on day in, day out to try and fix. And that's why you're seeing a lot more error codes and a lot more things happening in the background. So it's just an ongoing thing of them trying to update it and get us all back working smoothly, I guess.
Yeah, exactly. It's like any big, massively, complex. Again, just to log in and to do anything to get to the tower in Destiny 2, it's a ton of information that has to get processed and it has to go right. So, and again, they're adding stuff to the game. They're constantly tweaking. They're constantly fixing. They're constantly building stuff. Things are gonna break. You push new code into the game. Some of that code could be bugs. Maybe it's a big major thing, or maybe it's just a small, tiny little thing. Hey, in this certain combination of weapons and perks, and it does this thing, and that interact with this other thing, and that's leads to big problems. So basically, hey, they're basically saying we're improving it. And what's their plan? Again, people are going, tell us what you're gonna do, tell us the solution. Well, here's the road ahead. Big thing is, hey, we're gonna improve the game, just like they have done for the last 9 years. They're gonna keep doing that. And they've got 2 big key milestones over the next 2 seasons. So ongoing is just basically, they use a lot of words to say, we're going to keep working on the game. We're going to improve procedures. We're going to improve our response times, incident recovery, basically try to get the game back up when it goes down. Because they said that's part of what's led to the longer maintenance windows, is basically the game gets to the point where, they say, we try to do sort of these rolling restarts, which is basically you've got 50 servers, processing logins or whatever. Well, if 2 of those servers are down, you can take those 2 servers down. You still got 48 good servers. It's going to be slower. You're going to see an impact, but it'll still work. And they're saying sometimes it gets to the point where they have to take the whole game down. Turn it off and back on again. Your computer starts acting up. Sometimes you just gotta turn it off, start fresh, then you can get back to a state where it works, versus trying to sort of have it limp along. So that's what they're going to do, is just continue working on it. We're going to get a mid-season patch this season in 21, update 715, which they say has target improvements for logging and alerting. Basically, hey, when there's a problem, they can diagnose the issue more quickly with the claim system and other systems, so they know, hey, not just something went wrong, but this is what went wrong, and now here's how we can go fix it. So again, they're trying to minimize our downtime, minimize us having to wait for them to fix things. And then with the season 22 launch, update 7.2.0, they're basically putting a large bunch of improvements to improve the quote self-healing ability. So again, that's when errors start happening. The system is able to sort of heal itself. To say, hey, you've got these 2 servers that are acting up out of your pool of 50. Let's take those out. Let's make the fixes, get them back into service. hey, these things are failing over here because we're trying to route through a server in Chicago that's not responding. Let's make that happen quicker, and they get that back up and running. There's all these things happening in the background, this huge complex network of systems. It's basically, let's find ways, to make the system self-heal and to build in more redundancy. And they're basically saying, we're doing a bunch of other fixes, to sort of prevent that chance of the death spiral of basically the system slowing down as the messages of failure build up. That's when they have to turn things off. They also start talking about chaos testing, which is basically when you let respawn loose in your data center. No. Chaos testing is sort of basically just that. You can test and you can write test plans and say, here's all the things we think could go wrong. Well, chaos testing sort of takes that and goes, expect the unexpected. What happens if suddenly the West Coast isn't accessible? Like there's a major internet outage and you can't get to anything on the West Coast. Or hey, what if, we have a whole bunch of things, basically, what if something completely unexpected happens, or a big PC or network is not responding, or what's running at 1 gigabit per second speed suddenly drops to a quarter that, or a half that. It's just basically, let's throw random combinations of problems at our system and see how does it respond. And then figure out how can we protect against that. What redundancies, what fixes can we build in so when Chicago goes offline, when somebody cuts through a fiber optic cable to a major data center in the East Coast, that, the East Coast isn't suddenly without, servers for a day or something. It's basically, let's try to expect the unexpected and then build around that. And then finally, in the Season 23 launch with Update 7.3.0, basically they say, hey, based on the work we did in the last 2 big updates and the 2 big patches, looking at in deeper and broader architectural improvements, basically saying, we built in a bunch of extra logging, so we'll have a much better idea of where things are failing, why they're failing, and how they're failing. Now we can much better build fixes for, hey, we know exactly what the problem is. Now we can go build targeted fixes to address those problems. Not that it won't make new problems, but it'll give us a much better, more robust system. And we'll go back to the good days of, they take the game off for maintenance, they do their fixes, they push the new stuff, they bring it back up, and we're in a much better spot. So that's making the game better, and now we can go feel lucky and fish, Nitedemon.
I know. I was really surprised about this, that all the fishing ponds next week to celebrate Bungie Day are going to be lucky. And what does that actually mean? Well, for 1 week, Nessus, the EDZ, and the Throne World will have bonuses that double the exotic fish catch rate. Even though I still think the EDZ is still going to be the featured fishing pond next week. So if you need to finish up your triumphs, they say that triumph, but there are many triumphs to catch fish this season. And I can attest to that. It's just ongoing. I keep fishing, and just keep fishing. And those bars just don't fill up. It still says I need 1 billion more fish. But hey, for next week, I'm getting double the exotic fish rate. So hopefully that'll progress my fishing bars somewhere. So that's cool. Are you enjoying your fishing? Do you love your fishing?
I'm enjoying my fishing. It's an absolutely free source of more loot, more exotics, and more legendary gear. By just hanging around and, I don't think it's a great time to, hey, if you're trying to watch some YouTube videos or learn how to do something else in the game, load up a couple of those in your tabs, watch those, watch Fallout Plays next, 50 games or something video, and just fish a bit in the background. Because again, even if you don't care about the fish, it's free exotics, it's free gear, it's free loot for just standing around.
Well, you say it's free exotics, but last week, before I picked up the quest from Hawthorne to go and catch 500 fish or whatever it was, I caught that exotic fish to go and do the exotic quest. And I caught it about 3 times, even after that, whilst doing the Hawthorne's bounty. This week, I was there for a good half an hour before it even gave me 1 exotic fish. I was not happy because I thought, just because you patched it last week, why is it not patched this week? I'm waiting and waiting and waiting. But one cool thing that I did figure out is that, there's like many of these thrall statues that are dotted around the deep dives that people worked out that you need to go and dunk the blades that you get from. But initially, you get your exotic fish, you go to the helm, you dunk the fish, and it gives you a blade. You then take that blade into the deep dives, you find the thrall statue, and you dunk it in the thrall statue. Now, last week, I found one, I think it's on the second drop down into like all the flora and fauna in the deep dive. And I went back that way this week to see if that statue was still alight, and it wasn't. I was like, oh, it's not alight. But it says I can dunk this one at the same one that we dunked last week. And then I checked on my fishing bait in my inventory, and it says I've dunked both of those now. So there's no real reason to find the other thrall statues in the deep dives. You could just use the same one over and over again, I guess. Who knows?
Whatever works, whatever progresses the quest that makes
well, yeah, that's what I was thinking, And then next week's our last week of doing that. Well, the last week of catching the fish. It might not be the last step of the actual quest. Hopefully, it progresses you to the point where you can actually get the exotic next week, which would be nice.
Will be. Everybody loves the new exotic.
So cool.
You know
Bungie
what I
Day,
also love?
more fishing.
I also love the Witness's origins. We got a nice little story that
We did.
every lore Destiny, YouTuber and person was just, I think, put out a video this week going, "Oh my god, we got big answers, we got big things." So really, I mean, find your favorite Destiny lore person. Even if you're not tracking the story, it was a really beautiful cutscene that told us a lot, and it's fun to get that interpretation. Again, if you're not a big lore person, skip it. The game will be fun. You can still run around and shoot things. But before you can confront the Witness, you must understand the Witness. And so we got some good insight onto our sweet friend Asa, the Witness's origins, and actually gave us some questions. And they do link the Witness's origin cinematic in the TWID. So if you do, if you haven't played through it and you don't want to be spoiled, don't watch it. They say, hey, this is your spoiler warning. If you watch this, you're going to learn the things. So
we won't talk about it for a good couple of weeks, just in case people like not half haven't caught up. So yeah, we'll talk about it later. Respawn will forget about it, so we don't need to talk about it. He won't be reminded next week because he doesn't know what's going on. He's probably asleep, still asleep.
Exactly. And Destiny 2 team, they do also put here, for those wondering, yes, the cinematic will continue to be viewable in game after year 6 of Destiny 2 concludes. So if presumably, if you're playing the content, after, it's out and fresh and hot and everyone's made their videos, you'll still be able to experience it. You'll still be able to see it.
And then we got our final picks. Well, not our final picks, Bungie's final picks for the Drowning in the Drip fashion contest. So if you want to check those out on the TWID, you can. And if you want to dress like those, that some of them look really cool. I'm not 100% sold on some of these, but I'm not Bungie, so I don't get to pick. And then
get your deep drips.
And then it's Prime Time, Guardians. There is Prime Gaming Rewards. So if you've got a Bungie.net account and you've got an Amazon Prime account, you can link the two. Synergy. Together. And you get good stuff for it. So it's going to be extended through to July 19th. We're not going to tell you that you can get an exotic emote, an exotic ghost, a legendary sparrow, and a legendary ghost projection. But there are those things, but we can't tell you the names because they haven't put them in the TWID this week. Normally,
I definitely won't tell you. This is the Ninja Vanish exotic emote, the Red Line Shell exotic ghost, the Skedaddle legendary sparrow, and the Deep Projection legendary ghost hollow. I won't tell you it's those.
Don't you tell them, because Bungie don't want you to know. They've just shown you a picture and you have to guess.
Pictures only, 2D, Emblem contest. Nope, nothing else. We tell you nothing else about it. It's a secret.
Emblem contest. We went over the Emblem contest. So
we did.
Enter actual peril. But what is happening in our parody support report this week?
Well, the player support team is back, and they're ready to inform about the bugs and known issues. So sit back, relax, and watch them perform. Okay, we can confirm I'm not a poet, but the player support team is super rad, and this is their report. So, bans and restrictions. Players who have received a ban or restriction are advised to first review the code of conduct and ban policies for more information. You might have run afoul of one of those things. Players may also use the contact form to appeal the decision. There are no guarantees that a ban or suspension will be overturned, nor that an email will be responded to. And I know I've seen some chatter this week about, a speedrunner that got banned. I don't really have any. I think I saw someone talking about, someone had done the Shattered Throne in 3 minutes.
Oh,
which I think they were like, how could you? I mean, maybe it's possible. Maybe they were cheating. Maybe there was something else at play. Again, I don't know. I never did see who it was, or if they were banned, or if that was the reason for the ban.
3 minutes. My God.
Yeah. So, Bungie is banning people presumably for a reason, maybe for not. We've seen both instances of it. So if you've been banned, say, hey, I don't think it was a thing. And if you know in your heart of hearts that you were running afoul of the code of conduct, I mean, that's why it's there to say don't run afoul of those things.
Yes.
And there are a couple of known issues where there's still an issue where the Battle Rhythm Seasonal Challenge incorrectly tells players to defeat targets anywhere in the system. You have to go into Crucible, Gambit, or Vanguard Ops playlist to defeat targets there for it to count. The Strand Slayer Crucible bounty is not progressing still from Strand primary weapon kills. Any of them doesn't work. Still, the players can be eliminated by a finisher if the enemy is eliminated before the finisher animation completes. So if you're trying to finish something and somebody kills that thing you're finishing, you can die because of it. So, good times all around. Your Efficient Angler Seasonal Challenge is still progressing inconsistently. So, maybe you're fishing, maybe you're catching fish, and he says, no, you're not. And finally, the Taken Portal and Heart at the end of the Last Wish raid can appear off to the side. Sometimes it doesn't, but it can appear. So if you don't see it where you're expecting it, look off to the side, and perhaps it's there. So that's really the only new known issue. There's, the known issues article about all the things if you're going, I don't see my bug, check there or report it to the help forum. Because this isn't all the issues. This is just the hand-picked, small batch, bespoke list of known issues they're going to tell us about.
Yes.
And then it's time to roll in the deep, Night Demon. Or maybe be Spider-Man. Or be any of the other movies of the week. Or just have a lovely existential cross-stitch.
Very good artwork there. So you can check that out in the TWID this week. And thank you for Sam for telling us to stay crafty. Because we will. We'll always be crafty. In one way or another.
Always.
And before we go, I'd like to give you some tips, tricks, guides and builds videos. Because I like to do that. Because I'm a generous guy that watches some YouTube and says, hey, this video looks good. You may like it.
Right. So tell me all of my hot takes in community outrage. Who dished dirt on who this week and who's no, we're not doing that.
No, we're going to tell you how to play like this.
Oh.
There's a Warlock build out there that Castle Content has put together. It's the #1 build in Destiny 2. That's his view about it, but it is a good build. 100% uptime on like healing and unlimited grenades in like Grandmaster content is amazing. I'm going to try it on my Warlock, and if you guys want to try it, I will link the video in our show notes. We have this build makes Gambit actually tolerable. Now I'm not sure if you're running this build, but Respawn should be running this build. It is for hunters.
Mm-hmm.
You saw this one as well. Padgates Gaming this week put out a fantastic build for hunters. I suppose it works best with hunters because their class ability is a dodge, and with the class ability, and I can't remember the name of the mod, but it's the mod that collects orbs of light. It also collects the Gambit things.
The motes.
Motes. Gambit pages. I forgot the word. It's motes.
The vacuum cleaner mod.
Yes.
It'll work for modes just like orbs of light, which you can also generate tons of in Gambit. So vacuum them all up.
There you go. So also, if you want to make the Grandmaster Psyops Moon Battlegrounds easy, then you've got to try Matix's guide this week. So again, there'll be the Nightfall, Grandmaster Nightfall rotations that come up next week. So if you haven't done it, it should be selectable if you can get onto the selectable part of it. So that'll be the one either for the end of the season, so it'll be week 12, or if you have got access to the Grandmaster selection node, you can select it next week, and Matix is a guide for you for that. And Marshix this week ranked every auto rifle in PvE for Destiny 2. And some of them agreed with, and some of them I didn't agree with. But then I was probably getting it mixed up with, am I thinking PvP? Probably I am. So there you go.
Mm-hmm.
Have you got any videos that you would like to tell the people about?
I think, I mean, again, much of the community this week is people screaming and yelling about things or saying, hey, the game is bad, or why I play this, or why I'm stepping away. It's out there. I don't find it interesting, so we're not going to cover it. I'm going to mention that you should probably check out the Future of Destiny 2 PvP featuring TWID the Gatr and Hazelnt. The Blueberry Lounge's episode 22 streamed live on YouTube for no particular reason. It's a wonderful conversation around. I mean, PvP is the hot topic. So they have a great conversation about PvP and what's good, what's bad, what we
Did we crash that one?
What we think can
That
change.
was the one we crashed, wasn't it? Yeah, it was the one.
Yeah. I'm saying for no particular reason should you check that out. There's definitely no ulterior motive we may have here at Two Titans and a Hunter for mentioning this. No, no particular reason.
That would probably be in its entirety as well. Unlike the edited version you've probably heard on this one.
Exactly. I also definitely won't say you definitely shouldn't give Native Raider or Sweatyspookz or Hazelnt or TWID the Gatr. You shouldn't follow them. You shouldn't watch their videos and see their builds or go hit up the Destiny help desk for your information. You shouldn't do any of those things. It's definitely not worth your time. They're not making great, phenomenal content. They're not giving you great ways to play PvP. And if you're looking to dip your toe into PvP, and everyone says, "Oh, Destiny Massive Breakdowns," and you listen to those, and your eyes just sort of glaze over and roll back in your head, and you're going, "That's too much information. I don't understand." Go hang out at the Blueberry Lounge. They run scrims. They talk PvP. I mean, their show is about PvP. So if you're going, I don't raid. I'm not interested in this. If you want a PvP take on this game that's not toxic and not, the game is terrible, I'm leaving it, and blah blah blah. Go give those guys a follow and a listen. They do great stuff. And they do great stuff with the community, helping people get better at PvP. Saying, hey, we want to play this game and have fun. Here's how you can do that. And that's it for this week. There's lots of other things. I was tickled to see 2 separate Gambit videos this week. The one you mentioned, and then Say Walla Bros. I guess it was last week. But basically saying I played 50 matches for a Gambit God roll and didn't get it because, it's a slot machine. So sometimes you do, sometimes you don't. But it was just funny to see the Drifter on my screen on YouTube twice in a given week. So remember, if you think PvP's bad, it can always get worse.
Can. And I think that is the length and breadth of our show this week, apart from saying thank you to all our patrons.
Absolutely. We do love each and every one of our patrons who are going to secretly drop this episode on them because they're not even going to see it coming.
No.
Zep Orbit, we try to threaten him with a good time. He's up there in orbit, watching around, watching for this episode. It's going to hit him and he's going to go, where did you come from? Our Otter Dance Troop, the T-Rex King, Dedicated WM64, the Scarlet Came, and BHS Nightcrawler, they're not going to know where this came from. It's just going to show up one day, out of the blue, way before they expect it. You know who's throwing grenades? Carter 2782, Wee Noble, Golden God 1562, Basically Assault, Zombie Pops, Renard Calant, and Mellow Mally. They are throwing a phenomenal number of grenades. So they're throwing the grenades, but we're going to hit them with a drop podcast out of thin air. And Deacon, we don't tell Deacon.
No, we don't tell
Deacon of the approval. We don't tell her about PP Pipe. We don't tell her about Dimwee, the Drifters Driftwood, Hate Quest, Space Coin, Dam House, or Operator Conjun. We don't tell Deacon about them.
No.
But we appreciate them. And we talk about them.
All the time. Yes.
Gushingly. We love them. They're phenomenal human beings. And this is where I say thank you for joining us. This is going to be a very interesting show this week where we've got all the things you've come to know, love, and expect, and maybe some extra bonus PvP content. You never know.
No, you never know.
So your Titans this week have been Peroty and Nitedemon. Your Hunter is out in the wilds. He is not respawning in real life and not respawning here in the tower with us this evening. But don't worry. He'll be back soon. I promise you. Couldn't keep that man away if we tried.
No.
But you could email the show at twotitansandahunter@hotmail.com. We're on YouTube, Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, everywhere as Two Titans and a Hunter. You can find this show wherever you get your podcasts. You can follow us on YouTube for each new episode, weekly update videos, Shade 1 shader picks, and all the live streams that Nitedemon puts together. twotitansandahunter.com. Go there. You can find all the things. If you want to be like one of our phenomenal patrons, patreon.com/TTH. Or if you're looking for a casual encounter and say, that Nitedemon's working awfully hard. Well, I can't buy him a tea. I can buy him a coffee at ko-fi.com/twotitansandahunter. And if you want the thrill of live action, spicy language, and oftentimes live streams of the show, twitch.tv/no-one-respawned-in-real-life. If you want to keep it family friendly, like a proper British gentleman should, when the children are in school, head over to twitch.tv/2titansandhunter. And they stream when they stream. Hit the button and you will find out all the answers to all the questions you have. And then this is where I leave you with the parting thought of Robert Brooks shared a sobering moment this week where he says, sobering moment listening to the final radio conversation in the helm today. Pretty sure these were the last lines I ever recorded with Lance. So Lance Reddick, we still miss you. And we've now, if you're up with the story, again, we're not spoiling anything, but if you're up with the story, you've probably heard the last lines that Lance recorded for the game.
And I think with that, deuces and Alonzi.
Until next time, goodbye, Guardians.
Two Titans and a Hunter, a Destiny 2 podcast.
Guardians out. Oh.
Guardian down.
And streams ended. There we go.
Perfect.